Yeah. So we're just kind of chilling out. If you guys had any questions from before that I never got to, please pop them back into the chat, and I'll be able to get them. Drop an OnlyFans. I don't have an OnlyFans, but good to know that you guys are looking. Barry, are there any more reviews planned in the future? I loved those and want to see that content again. That's kind of interesting. I thought people disliked the reviews, but yeah, I do have a lot coming. For my van, because it's going to be so expensive for me, I've reached out to a bunch of companies and asked them to send me stuff like coolers. Actually, let me show you what I'll be potentially getting. Coolers, hammocks, what else? Butane torches. I can show you when the video comes. You guys will see it. Maybe. But, oh. So, what I'm going to do for the 30 series cards, I'm going to wait until they come out, and I have a plan to sell my PC. I sold my little briefcase to PC to my mother. She wanted it for some reason, which is very cool. And I want my stuff back, thank you. So I sold that. So I'm gonna buy myself a laptop with a 30 series card in it. Muttley is the kind of person to support Douglas Haig as the commander in battle. I'd love to have you try out and stream some Echo Arena as the best movement. Okay. No matter how many steps back we take, we're not omniscient beings, and the whole truth is not available to be seen, let alone interpreted by one person. That's very true. That's very true. I can only know my way. And that's also the thing, too. Like, I don't want... Well, I honestly don't think anyone imagines me as the kind of person who wouldn't listen to someone else's opinions and ideas. The only thing is, like, you gotta be able to tell when someone doesn't know what they're talking about, which is why I don't like talking about politics, because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to politics. The only thing I know is that I don't like the way things are working. You know? But I don't care enough to want to do anything about it, you know? Like, for example, let's equate this to an ant colony. I understand that I'm an ant worker. I was not born into royalty. I'm not some prestige that has any what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? What is the word? Influence. That's what I'm looking for. I don't have any influence. So it doesn't matter how many people I talk to. It wouldn't even matter if everyone in America agreed with what I was saying. If I went to Congress or to the White House and was like, hey, you know, here are my ideas. I think we should be more interested in going to space than killing each other. You know, I don't really see it doing much good for me. So that's why, and this was the thing. So there are ways in which that I've changed, only in the past year. The first was I wanted to be a millionaire, and I wanted to be a millionaire ever since I was like 17. No, younger than that, because I grew up really poor. So I wanted to never worry about money. So I worked myself to death. I became a workaholic. And actually, everyone I met told me that. They were like, you are a workaholic. You won't stop. And I always took that as a great thing. That's like a compliment to me. But I realized that I'm working myself for no reason. Money is a false concept. The only reason that it actually has any value is because we've decided that it does. So why am I spending my life on a thing that tomorrow could be worth nothing? You know, I'm spending my life on that. I could instead, what is it I want to do? What with all that money do I want to do? And then I thought about that. Okay, well, what I want to do is see this place. I only have so much time on this planet, you know? And there are some people who believe you come back and reincarnate and all this, but we have no proof of anything. I have, as far as I know, this one experience, this one chance. And to live most of my life trying to make money so I can do what I want, that is a waste of my time. I will instead live poor if I have to. I've done it my whole life. I'll live poor and go see the world. And if I am really in a pickle, I have no food, no shelter. I mean, I'll have my van, but you know, I'll go into an establishment and say, "Hey, I can't do much for you. I understand you probably can't even hire me, but I'll clean your whole place right now if you just give me a meal, one meal. I'll just clean your whole place. I'll vacuum it. I'll wash all the tables. I'll clean your dishes. Anything. You know? Whatever. I can do an odd job like that and I have food. And I'm seeing America. You know? I was talking to a guy last night. I went to a bar and I was talking to this guy, older guy. He was a pilot. He was a fireman. He was a Marine. No, he wasn't. He was a National Guard. And I was telling him my plans, and he kept saying, "Oh, you're not going to want to do that. You know, I come from a different generation than you do, but you're not going to want to do that." And I was like, "Why? What's up?" He's like, "You're going to want money. You're going to need money if you're going to do stuff like that." I worked my whole life so that I could support stuff like that, you know? But this is the kind of guy who wants a triple-decker RV and, you know, some, like, really nice amenities, and I don't care about. It's just stuff. I don't need stuff, you know? That's not what's real. Experiencing, that's what's real. But I don't need a lecture for too long. But that was the first one, was money. I wanted to be a millionaire. The second thing was fame. And this guy asks, Klipsch, do you regret taking a break from YouTube and slowing down in your channel's growth? Also, do you think you'll ever get your views back like it was in the glory days? And this is the thing. When I made that realization that I was working my life away, one thing that I would do is I would sit here and I would go, man, you know, that video didn't make as many views as the video I made last week. And I'd stress about that. You know, my video last week made, I don't know, 190,000 views, and this one only made 30, and I really put a lot of time into this one, you know? And I would stress myself out over that kind of stuff. It's just not worth it, you know? Here's the deal. If this channel died, you know, it would be no different than when I was doing B.A. Weedrick Game, which I know a lot of you guys don't know about, but before this channel was BulletBarry, it was called B.A. Weedrick Gaming. And I didn't have subscribers for 2 years. And I just made gaming Let's Plays on this. And I did it for 2 years and had a wonderful time. Isn't that what it's all about, right? Like, why do I need thousands of people seeing me have a good time? If I'm having a good time, that's all that matters. You know? It's great you're here. But I don't need the million views. I don't need the, you know, it'd be nice because while I'm on the road, I can make money. Yeah, fine. But I don't want to have to rely on stress and anxiety to get me going, you know? And I make another channel, and if I enjoy it and I have a good time and it works out for me, that's great. And if it doesn't, well, you know, that's okay. There is no problem. If there's a problem, I need to stop worrying about it. That's as simple as that gets. What's your opinion on squeakers? Squeakers don't bother me so long as they're not obnoxious. If a squeaker is obnoxious on purpose, he can get the heck out. You got fame, kinda, right? But do I? Like, this is the thing on that. Like, let's say my name goes for 1,000,000 years. You know, like Cleopatra. Let's say my name goes forever. What does that do for a dead man? You know? What is a name? What? Like, why do I care? I don't need to be the Barry. I'm a Barry, and I existed. You know? Did he say famous? See, then that's the thing. I would meet girls online, and I had to get to a point where I couldn't show them any online stuff, because the second I did, they were starry-eyed. They were like, oh my god, you're famous. Oh my god, like, I can't even believe I'm talking to you, and I don't want that. That's not what I want. You need to talk to me like I'm a person, you know? I am not BulletBarry, some famous YouTuber. 200,000 subscribers does not mean anything, you know? And again, don't get me wrong, the people who are supporting me, oh my god, that is amazing. The fact that you even like me enough to hang around. You know, I could never have asked for that, and I am so happy that that has happened. You know, I'm not trying to say that that's not important, you know? But it's important because I've touched someone's heart, not because I'm making a shitload of money and my name is now engraved in, you know, the future. I don't need that. I thought I wanted that. But I don't care about that. What do you think about the Xbox Series S aggressive pricing? I need to look more into these next gen consoles. I haven't looked anything up. If you guys want to talk about them in the chat, please. And I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to. I won't just go into my, you know, I've been getting into your videos lately since moving to PC, and you're a really awesome content creator. I hope your channel continues to grow. Thank you. I mean, if what you really want is to explore America and have experiences, a safe way to do that would be to pursue financial independence, retire early. You'd have to work hard and save a lot. Well, I like not being someone on the internet. Privacy is priceless. Yeah, we don't have it. If you have a cell phone, you've already screwed yourself. I'm so happy you're back. You've been a huge help in my life. Oh, man. See, now that right there, that's worth more than any money you can throw at me. You know, if you told me that my content was Jake Paul-like, and I made you believe that rampaging people and just being a complete dick, you know? Like, that's what BulletBarry shows me, is I can be a complete dick and not get in trouble for it, you know? Like, ugh. But I wouldn't trade if someone said, Barry, you got me out of a depressed state of mind. Like, watching your videos made me rewire my mind and think about life in a different way. Like, that's worth way more than any money Jake Paul ever gets. Seriously. Your laugh is infectious. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Would you upload your brain to a computer or robot? I honestly have thought about that so many times, and I think I would. It depends. It depends. Like, I still want to die. I think death is important. I think it's essential. But I don't know, like, extending my life 700 years? Why not? You know? There are a lot of people who are like, well, that's unnatural. Of course it's unnatural, but what is the point of being human? If we were supposed to be natural, right? As objectively natural as possible, we would be as blank-headed as any animal you see. If they are. You know, you see a cat can sit in the same spot for hours and be content. You know? Imagine a human doing that, we go depressed. You know? So, I think expanding our lives like that, it's kind of a fascinating... Oh, that was not good. Did you know you had a lot of impact on me and my friend group? Mentality in a good way. Oh. Oh wow. So yeah, that's another thing too. I feel a little weird about talking about psychedelics as much as I have, because I feel as though I've inadvertently put people in this mindset where it's like, if I have a problem, I can solve it with that. And that's not what I, want to push. But then also, if it does help, then I'm not going to sit there and, tell anyone what to do or what not to do. And that's just my point on all that. I don't think drugs are the answer to anything, but I think that there are compounds that you can use instead as tools, the same way we use Tylenol to cure a headache, or not cure, but deal with. I don't play Minecraft. I'm thinking of trying psychedelic mushrooms with my good friend. I have some growing just outside of my house. I've done a quick bit of research. What are your tips for taking them? Okay, now this is the important part. If you are going to take them, this is where I think, yeah, I can come in handy. So, first things first, small doses. Like I said before, there was a guy online who took, there are people online who take a crap load their first time, and they come back and they're like, I know everything and it's great, it's the most wonderful thing, and that's fine. But not everyone goes into these experiences and has a good time. I've had two really good friends go into these experiences, light doses or not, and have awful experiences because of past trauma, because of some mental issue that they didn't realize they had, or they knew that they had a chance of becoming schizophrenic, and they take these things and it amplifies that. It brings it on quicker. So light doses, 1.5 grams, take it slow and build up. If after you've taken them once that your mind is going to be okay and you've got a solid foundation, now you can take the dose. First things first. Second thing, be in a place where you're safe. Do not go somewhere where you're going to be around cops or around a bunch of people you don't know. Don't go to a park. Somewhere where you're safe. Have someone there who's sober, so that if something goes awry, you can trust them. And then third, you do need to trust them, but you need to be able to establish boundaries with them. For example, I'm the kind of person who can trip anywhere. So I got lucky in some way, but if you go tripping somewhere where there's a bunch of people, it can look like they all are staring at you and they know that you're tripping, and you will convince yourself of that. So you need to be able to tell your friend what's going on, first of all, and then also be able to say, hey, look, I need you to stop talking. If you can go to your friend, because there have been times where I've been sitting there like going a little nuts and someone will not shut up. You need to be able to say, look, I need my time right now. It's a little energetic in here right now. I just need time. So I like tea. Yeah, I normally drink tea. I was watching you, so I joined the military. Oh, hey, well, thank you for your service, and yeah, glad to see you back. Do you think school is a waste of time? I don't think it's a waste of time. That's a hard question, though. Like, man, I don't know if I should comment on this one, to be honest, because the school that the schooling that I got wasn't very useful to me, other than theater. Theater was useful to me because I can talk to anybody, which is actually way more useful than math, only because I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a engineer, and don't get me wrong, it's good to know your math, but if I go into a job interview, they're not going to ask me what 3 times 8 is. They're not, People skills is what you need to build. And that's where theater comes in. So you get into theater, and then now you sit in front of a guy in front of your chair, or, you know, whatever, and he asks you, what can you bring to the table? And now you can sell yourself. You can say, well, God damn it, I'm a really good worker, and I'm not going to do you wrong. I don't call out very much, and when I get a job done, I do it right, and I make sure that people around me know that it's done right. If I do something that other people need to know about, I will go to my superiors and tell them what I've done so that they know, you know, this situation has happened, and if it needs to be taken care of, they can do it further, you know? So it's just like, school is a way of throwing a wide variety of information into you so that you have this baseline of, okay, now I know I want to be a scientist, or now I know I want to be a mathematician, or I want to be a Walmart worker, you know? But, yeah, that. See you, Dathu. Whoa, full dive is VR that's directly linked to your mind. That's where we're going. I'm interested, especially if we get to a point where we can link all of our minds together. Oh, that would... Oh, I have theories, man. They're psychedelic-induced theories, but oh my god, do I have theories. Can you guys go with me on this just for a second? I know I talk about this way too much, and you guys are probably like, Barry, would you stop with the hippy-dippy shit? But can I please? Like, yes, hive mind. Okay, so when you take psychedelics, what happens to you is your mind it feels like this, okay? It's just a feeling. It's not what's happening. It feels like your mind is expanded to a point where you're no longer a singular entity. I'm not Barry anymore. I am every living thing on this planet. I am everyone. And it feels like when you're in front of people, you can judge intent really well. You can look at them, and based on how they look at you, it could be some sort of just... It feels like you are in their heads. You're with their mind. And now that's fascinating. But my thought is, okay, there's this... It's not a theory. It's a psychedelic hypothesis that many people who've tried psychedelics come to, where what we are is a giant consciousness that came out of... That's the part that it's like the Big Bang. We don't know why the hell, you know? But the universe, on a grand scale, is alive. And it's alone. And it doesn't know what to do, so it plays with itself. It comes up with ideas, and we're just one of the dreams that it has, you know? It's like, okay, what about a world like this? Let's see what happens if I do that, you know? And then, okay, well, actually, I like what I made. Now I'm going to make beings that can look at it. There. Now there's humans. Now I'm going to be the human. There. And I'm going to forget that I even was this giant thing, because now I'm a human. Now, here's the fascinating part. You take these psychedelics, and it becomes familiar to you that you are this all-knowing, all-powerful, celestial thing. It's like remembering it, which is weird, you know? You're like, oh, right, I'm God. I made this. Duh. Which I don't believe. I don't believe it, okay? But it's something that I have felt before, so I think that's interesting. Now, if you take VR... okay, and you link millions of people's minds together, if we all end up having that same familiar thought, wouldn't it be kind of interesting that that's what humans worked to? We worked our singular entity lives trying to get back to this unified entity? Wouldn't that be kind of fascinating? You know? It's just something that, like, you know, what the hell? But it'd be fun, you know? It's interesting little idea. What do you think about the idea that our way of thinking was implanted into our brains unnaturally, like how aliens put this mind into our brain? Dude, I've had thoughts sometimes where I wake up and yesterday I wasn't actually Barry. But because I woke up Barry, I remember everything Barry knew. But I change people every single day. Like, tomorrow I'm going to be some guy named Tim in Europe, you know? But today I'm Barry, and I have all of his memories. I've always been Barry. It just makes sense I've always been Barry, you know? I play with that kind of stuff all the time. I watched a live stream with Nick Doblin. He described the same thing about everyone's the same. You are the stars, you're Hitler, and you're Jesus. Well, I mean, if you think about it that way, if the Big Bang is real, you know, if the Big Bang did happen, then that makes sense. A tiny point in the universe is what we came from. So then from that, it makes sense that every form of matter that exists here is all interchangeable. For example, I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. You've probably heard this. My atoms and my molecules have all recycled, and I'm completely a different being. My flesh is not the same as it was 7 years ago. Every atom has been replaced. So then, what atoms replaced it? Other atoms from the universe. So if I'm always cycling atoms out into other people, you take a step back and you see that flow. Like if you're open to that light spectrum and you see that flow where it's nothing but molecules moving into each other, then there is no individual Barry. This planet is a giant organism. And then beyond that, this universe, a giant organism. You know? We're nothing more than one thing. But, you know, the liver is in a different place than the spleen, of course. So I, being me, am different than, you know, some guy on the other side of the world. What are your thoughts about philosophy? I think it's fun, but it's also annoying because you can't do anything with it. You know? It's like, hey, very fun thought, you're clever, but you know, it's not gonna make you money. Why don't you play Minecraft? It's fun, like, don't get me wrong, I only enjoy it for so long. What do you think about the Ryzen 5000 series? Oh my god. I am so happy that AMD is kicking so much ass. I love to see the underdog make comebacks like this because Intel is going to be shaking in their boots. The only thing is they still don't have very good graphics cards. Like, don't get me wrong, their graphics cards are fine. They're not horrible by any means, but they're nothing compared to the 30 series. What are your opinions on time travel? Watch Steins Gate. It does a really good job. And Steins Gate, it's an anime, so if you guys don't like that, but Steins Gate goes into the whole John Titor kind of time travel, which was really fascinating. Do you believe we have free will? A set of variables in a set environment always have the same outcome, so going down the smallest scales, free will isn't really a concept. Yeah, and I think about that. So when I wonder about that, I'm like, can I blame myself for the actions that I've, you know, my actions? I'll look in the mirror and I'll move my arms and I'll be like, did I do that? You know? For example, okay, here's a fascinating one for you. So, Vsauce has this series called Minefield, and there was this one episode where they put this this headdress with little electrodes on there. Is just a little helmet. And this helmet, what it did was the person was supposed to push a button. And when you push this button, it would light up or something. But the thing was, this helmet would push the button. It would make the button light up red when your brain made the decision. Right? So when your brain made the decision, I'm going to push this button now, it would light up. So the person never got a chance to actually hit the button. What was fascinating was the button would light up before the person had claimed to make the decision. So the person would say, I haven't decided yet, but that button went red a second before I was going to do it. So then the question is, who's making the decision? Is it you? And if it's not, then we are really good at justifying the decisions, the actions that our body makes. We're like, yeah, I did that. And then we justify it, even though it could be nothing we ever had control over. Which is also very fascinating. What are we and why are we not interested in that? or do we know and don't want to tell each other? You know? What the hell? I don't know. It freaking wigs me out sometimes. Hang on, sorry, there's a lot of questions. Do you have those moments where your soul basically disconnects from your body and you think, hey, this is not me? So that's actually not your soul. That's your ego. And that happens to a lot of people. That's actually technically what a midlife crisis is. A full disconnect from your ego. And essentially you'll say, what am I doing with my life? Who am I? What am I? And all this. And I had that existential crisis the first time I took a psychedelic. But yeah, you'll sit there, and that's a very normal thing. That actually happened to my buddy who was doing YouTube for a long time. He looked at his hand and he was like, this isn't my hand. And I don't know who I am. And yeah, that scared him. So ego disillusion, really look that up. That's a fascinating thing. And a lot of Buddhists, a lot of monks who meditate, that's the state of mind they're trying to get to. They're trying to remove their ego. This thing that says, I play guitar, or I'm BulletBarry, I play video games. You know, you don't say I anymore. You become nothing more than a strictly objective camera. And if you say, I am, it breaks it. You know, you're nothing more than a lens. I'm a camera angle on the beach. You know, that's all I am. Do you believe in the multiverse? I thought we had evidence of a multiverse. But maybe not. Isn't the idea of collective consciousness kind of entertaining the idea that humans are above all other animals? Well, no, because it wouldn't be any different. Okay, so think of it like this. Humans are no different than any other animal. The only difference that we have is that we have the ability to use small mouth movements to talk to each other and share the ideas that are in our own subconscious, you know? Beyond that, we're just like any other animal. So let's say reincarnation exists, okay? So this is how I kind of think about it. It doesn't have to, like, I haven't really studied a lot of Buddhist teaching yet, Taoism and Taoism a little bit, but, like, let's just kind of, for a second. Butterflies fly back to the spot where their parents birthed them, and then they die. And then those butterflies move on, and then they come back to where their parents, and then they die. So imagine a consciousness cycle where this butterfly goes and puts an egg down, dies, and then its spirit, or whatever, let's call it consciousness, flows back into itself. Right? Now, what Buddhists believe, and again, I haven't read a lot, I'm really fishing a lot here, but is that this cycle, you know, you go through this cycle over and over and over, and then you move up the chain. I have now understood the full facet of being a butterfly. I'm moving on to being a raven. Now I'm a raven, and I'm going to do that. And now I'm moving forward, and now I'm a hawk, you know, and now I'm a dog, and now I'm a human, you know. And you just keep doing this until you know, you've, I guess, completed the whole point of living all these lives on this planet, you know. And then time wouldn't even matter. You could be a bug in the 17th century in one life, and then I'm Barry in 2020, this life, you know? That whole thing is just kind of hard to get into because it's all just playing with ideas. There's nothing to get into. I've thought that since our bodies recycle all of the atoms, it makes it almost possible that consciousness can be transferred to another being. That is an interesting thought. I think you should make chat and chill a weekly thing. Is it possible to be biologically immortal? Keep cells multiplying at a constant pace? I mean, so this is called senescence. I'm pretty sure it's called senescence. And what animals? Alligators, lobsters, what else? I know there are a few different animals that... Turtles, yeah, so they don't age in the way that we do. They just keep getting bigger to a point where they can't hunt anymore. And then when that happens, they have to die. But they don't they live forever. Or that jellyfish, you know, that will die, but then it'll just reburn or become. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so that. I think it's all very fascinating. Lobsters. Yeah. So I think that if we are into, you say biologically, but you don't have to say naturally, right? So we could use, through maybe gene splicing or something, the ability to, yeah, screw you. The ability to live permanently. We would just get bigger and bigger and bigger, which would be kind of fascinating, because a lot of old religions or tribes of people have that kind of belief. Like the Egyptians believed that as you gained consciousness, as you leveled up in consciousness, you became a taller and taller being, and you lived longer and longer. So I don't know. It's all very interesting. What do you think of IQ? I don't know mine. I don't know what it means. Like, I hear a set of people say that IQ is the thing that judges intelligence, and then I hear some people say that IQ doesn't mean a lick of crap. So, get high and just keep talking. It's only like 1. I don't want to get high. High is when I'm relaxing at the end of the day. How about this, though? One of these days, I'll get on stream with you guys. If you guys enjoy these kinds of chats, I'll get on stream and I'll come in around like 9 o'clock or something. And I'll drink and I'll get high with you guys and we'll have a good time. Going down the same argument, everything that has happened and will happen is already predetermined in a way. When the Big Bang happened, it was already determined that you would do this stream. I don't know if I have much to say on that. Because I can't know if that's true, you know? Like, you can even here, go into this. You can convince yourself, if someone tells you that the media dictates how we think, even if you believe they don't. There are people out there who are going to be led in a certain direction, and those who can't be led will be subliminally led in a different direction. So me and my life choices that I've decided to follow could be some higher up who has led my life, not specifically for me, but because they know the algorithm. They know how the human mind works, you know? So that you do that kind of stuff, and you'll sit there and wonder, is my life mine? You know? And I don't know if it's just really worth that much time to think about. I'm gonna lose here, so I'm gonna just not do this. Bo Burnham is so funny. He's freaking clever as hell. I like his attitude on that too, because he like sits there and plays his piano. He's like, this is easy. Anyone can do this. It's not hard. You know, I love that, because I'm like, ugh, that's great. I'll be right back, guys. Nice chair. Weed chair. You can't know everything is predetermined, but you can't know it isn't. So it doesn't mean much either way. Well, see, and that's kind of interesting too. Ever since my my dosing myself, I don't have as many control issues. I was a control freak for a long time. I would actually get stressed out during streams because they weren't going the way that I wanted them to go, and I knew that they could go. So, oh, hey, kitty, kitty. So it doesn't matter to me so long as I'm happy. And that's actually the thing too that I noticed is, if it's predetermined, you still choose if you're happy or not. You choose, you know? I don't know what decides. Now that's actually kind of interesting. I don't know what decides. Oh, shoot. Like, what makes me happy? You know, I wasn't the one who said, yeah, I'm going to do PC gaming and that's going to just complete me. You know? That just was the way it was. I didn't pick that. So, you just got to do... You just got to do it. I don't know. I don't really have much of a big thought on that, I think. This is a really stupid question, but what if Thanos snapped when there were only an odd number of organisms? Well, half a man goes away then. Also, I think you'd find Hawking points interesting. Their hypothesis to scientific proof of universal incarnation. Ah, where the Big Bang isn't the start, but the continuation. That is fascinating. A random dude loses his balls. Yep, that's how it happens. Got him. See, I had the opposite experience on acid. In an effort to feel more control in that overwhelming state, I started doing compulsive mental actions so that I would feel in control. And it took me a while. No, I had to let it go. I'm not saying you're right or wrong in what you did. I let it go. Like, okay, so I would take mushrooms and then I would start to feel the come up and I'd start to feel my mind being pulled and I would go, no, that's too scary. I'm not letting that happen. I'm not letting that happen. And then I would cancel the experience. I'd always kick myself afterward because that was me being afraid of letting go, you know? And I don't want to be afraid of anything. Not that I think it's important to, you know, be a big, strong man who doesn't, you know, it doesn't get scared. That's not what I'm saying. But I just, if these things have something to show you, you know, you're going to sit there and cancel out that experience because you're afraid. They can't kill you. You shouldn't be, you decided to take the ride. Take the ride, you know? But I also can understand that there are some things some people are not ready to see, and I could never blame anyone for not going through it, you know? For an outsider, it would look like you're going insane. Do you feel like you actually make progress in yourself, or do you feel like better like than before, like when you worked at Falcon? So I actually have noticed that myself too. I'll sit down with people out in town, just kind of hanging out, and I'll start to say stuff like this, or I'll say, you know, the kind of stuff Jim Carrey says, and people will go, yeah, Jim Carrey went crazy. Jim Carrey's nuts. And I'm like, okay, see, the stuff Jim Carrey says makes sense to me. That's what's annoying. So this is the funny part. So if you went crazy, so, and I've seen crazy, there's a lot of meth around here. There's a lot of people who have broken their brains. If you see two people on meth talking to each other, they are not having conversations. They are not having a structured conversation with each other. They are raving about demons and giant people and killer, you know, like clouds in the sky that came down and slaughtered them, and they still somehow survived. No story is similar. This is a delusion. None of it actually happened, right? So then you got to sit there and be like, what? So a hallucination's real? And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is hallucinations are at least passable. I can have a hallucination or a psychedelic realization and share it with someone who either is mindful enough, right, that they've never taken the psychedelic, they can understand, or people who've taken psychedelics will instantly understand. This is the difference here. The fact that I can be coherent to those who have these parts of their minds already opened is telling that I have not gone crazy. I can be understood, you know? So that gives me a lot of solace when thinking about, have I actually just gone crazy? You know, looking out on the outside, I'm talking about stuff that had I said this to myself 3 years ago, I'd have been like, wow, he went nuts. It's just, all I'm doing is being honest about the experience that I had. That's as far as I can go. And I'm not going to sit here and claim that it's real, you know? It happened to me, and for those who can understand, it seems to be something that's able to help them in some way, you know? So I don't, whatever you think about that, that's as far as I can really go. Do you think you've ruled out God as a reason for all existence? Well, no, because God doesn't have a definition, you know? So if you believe that there is some giant consciousness that controls all this, then that could be called a god. You know, if you believe that there's a flying spaghetti monster out there, that could be a god. And I know that the flying spaghetti monster is a joke. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm just saying that whatever God is could be nothing more than, you could say God is life itself. The fact that life is a thing at all, that's God. You could say that, you know. You could say, I've never felt anything stronger than love, and love is God. So it's just a concept. It doesn't actually have to, you know, mean that there's some bearded creator, you know. I'm glad you're moving into this sort of content. Any movie recommendations? Yes. Oh my goodness. So watch things by the Coen brothers, Tarantino, especially Tarantino. Let me think of specifics. Like one that I really liked, Nightcrawler, scared the crap out of me, because Nightcrawler's about this guy who takes whatever he wants and he gets it every time, just because of how he talks to people. It's incredible. He has this confidence that I'm like, holy cow. American Beauty, a little too close to what actually happened with Kevin Spacey. I was like, whoa, that's some stuff. If there was anyone else in this movie, fine, but it had to be Kevin Spacey. But Kevin Spacey's such a good actor. You know, come on, you can't be mad at his acting, at least. You can be mad for what he did, but you can't be mad at him being an actor. Like, he's so incredible. But that movie is about a guy who falls in love with a 17-year-old little girl. What's another I'm trying to think about? I need more of these poisons. I'm trying to think of movies that Cloud Atlas I really liked. Cloud Atlas is one that jumps like a few different timelines. Please never end this stream. Parasite. What an amazing movie. Oh my god, Parasite was incredible. Henry, I need you to... You're right in the middle of everything, buddy, and I'm trying to do a thing with all these people, you know? Here, guys. Here's my kitty being a pain in the ass. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I love you, Zuko boy. Yeah, I'm sorry. No. But you are in the way, dude. You're in my way. There you go. Thank you for the amazing answer. What drugs do you think are good or bad? Do you think psychedelics should be allowed for everyone? So, I don't think there's such thing as good and bad in anything. I don't think there's such things as a good drug or a bad drug. Meth and heroin, like, you sit there and tell me you know, but they're drugs. If I'm just going to be objective, that's what they are. They're just drugs. Because I could sit there and tell you that if you take heroin, you'll never get sick for the rest of your life. And so long as you're taking it, that seems to be what happens, you know. And I'm not telling anyone to take it. I'm not saying it's worth doing it, you know. I'm just saying that's, you know, there's no such thing. What you can do is you can take a look at a compound, find out what it does to the human mind, and decide if that's something that would be beneficial for your personal growth, right? So I can look at Tylenol and think, okay, this is not something that I need to abuse. It's not something that's going to be useful for me to abuse. The only thing that would happen to it, I'd kill myself, I'd ruin my liver, and destroy my kidneys, and not have a headache. It's not beneficial, you know? So I can't say what drugs are good and what drugs are bad. That doesn't exist. Psychedelics, the same thing. Psychedelics are not good and they're not bad. You know, they can have beneficial effects for people. But again, like I've said, I've seen people go through the ringer and have the scariest experience of their entire lives. And that's something you need to take note of, because it's just not, you know, it's not something you can sit there and just, well, I should be okay if I do it. You know, you can't know. You just need to be careful. Let me get to some of these questions. What would you do if one of your friends started doing cocaine? That's a really good question. So I do what I did last time, and I just look up cocaine. But I've looked up cocaine enough. I know enough about it. If my friend started doing cocaine, like, okay, this is the difference. If he tried cocaine, I'd be like, more than fine. I actually have friends who have tried cocaine. More than fine. Try it. I don't care. Do what you're gonna do. If they got addicted to it and they couldn't stop, if they were like, hey, I'm gonna go do some cocaine again every day, I'd have to talk. I'd be like, dude, you know, this is getting out of hand. You know, you can't be you can't be doing this all the time. So it just depends on what they're doing. Is there a reason why I'm so sensitive to gore in movies, but completely fine with them in Mortal Kombat? Well, okay, actually, no. So the best I got is, in a game, you're kind of controlling the actions of the character, so your intent is behind what's happening, right? You get to decide why you're killing that character, and if you've got a buddy next to you, your intent is not actually like, I want to ruin this guy. I just want to win, you know? That's it. Or especially if you're playing a game like online or a story-driven game, you know? The story-driven game, though, is different, because the story-driven game is very similar to the movie, where the movie implants a reason, you know? So you could be sitting there watching a movie and not agree with the character. For example, this is a really well-done really well-done example, too. Breaking Bad. I hated Walter. I hated Walter for such a long time because of what he did. But that's what's so captivating about that character. I don't resonate with Walter and his actions and his reasonings behind his actions. I hated him. But he's a captivating character. And an actor that can make me hate them is a wonderful actor. How could I hate him? You know, so maybe it's something to do with that. What do you think about lucid dreaming? I think it's one of the coolest things that I cannot do, and I cannot wait until I can. Midsommar, that's a wonderful movie. Oh my goodness. That scared the crap out of me, though, when I watched that movie. I was like, that could just happen. You could just do that to someone. Like, if you don't know about what Midsommar is, these group of kids go to this cult, and they don't even know. And the cult forces them to take mushrooms and LSD, and then using these compounds rewires their brains to just pretty much make them do whatever they want them to do, and this cult then murders them and rapes them, and just, it's like, it's the most horrible but it represents the situation really well. You're like, that could happen, you know? That could easily happen. So, I mean, it has happened. There's so many cults out there that have done that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Midsummer was, dude, and I watched that high. I was like, I can't be watching this high. This is a bad movie, man. I can't ever trip ever again. This is horrible. Oh, I hear The Wire is amazing. I hear that's one of the best written TV shows of all time. I need to see that one. When you yelled out Parasite, I thought you were referencing Venom for some reason. No, Parasite's it's one of the most popular Korean movies. At least popular here in America. It's so well done. It's just smart and it's fun, and God, I had a great time watching that one. I had a wonderful time. I want to kill this guy fast. What's your opinion on nature versus nurture? Go into more detail. I'd love to hear your opinion on time and whether you believe it's subjective to our experience. For example, in relativity for photons, time is non-existent. Yeah, that's... See, this is the thing on that. My psychedelic experiences have demonstrated in a way that time doesn't work the way that I think it does. But I don't know if that's just because I'm dissociated from time at the time. Can I use that word again? But what I mean is, okay, so for example, you take DMT and you're gone for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. But you come back with 2, 3, 5 years of experiences? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, and you have to try to quantify it. There have been dreams that I've had where I've lived full lifetimes, entire lifetimes as a different person or as myself. And I said to myself in that dream, I have always been here. This has always been my life, and this is who I've always been. I just know who I am, and then I wake up, you know? So it's weird. So if time doesn't exist, or let me say that differently. If time does exist, and it is the way that we know it to be, right? No, that's the thing, though. It's because the only reason time exists the way it does on our planet is because of how our planet rotates around our sun. And we've decided that 24-hour period is what a day equals, you know? So, I don't know. But let's just say time is that, you know? It's a real thing. We at least have the ability in a dream state to disregard it, and our universe becomes non-Euclidean, non-Newtonian, and it's just whatever. Just whatever can happen, and it can be a span of hundreds of years, and then you wake up and it was only 2 hours. How can you quantify that? Our brains are weird. That's as far as you can really go without being a neuroscientist, honestly. So I can't, sit there and be like, I'm an authority on this. And that's why I always get so weary about touching these subjects. Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here, man. I'm just telling you what I saw. That's as far as I can go. If someone's scared about getting a bad trip, what would you say to them? I'm really scared because of Midsummer. Okay. My girlfriend, when I was in Vietnam, wanted to try LSD. And she would look at me and she'd say, what if you wear the wrong shirt and I have a bad trap? What if it starts to rain and I have a bad trap? And that is how she talked. She's so freaking cute. But either way, the thing is, if you're thinking, I'm going to have a bad trip, you're going to put yourself in that mindset. Don't think about it. The experience is what it is. You have to live by the moment you're in, because this is how it gets. When I have a bad trip, this is how it gets. Shit. Things are getting really scary. This sucks. I'm in a really bad spot. Okay. Calm down. Bad tension like this, this is going to last maybe a minute. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe I live in this pain for 5 minutes. What are you going to show me? Tell me what you're going to show me. And then I go through this. God, it's rough. This just sucks. Like, God, I'm just sad and miserable and scared out of my mind. I'm just terrified out of my mind. It's going to go away, though. This is not going to be forever. And then it shows me what it needed to show me. And I'm like, oh, my mother died. Oh, my God. Oh, God, my mother died. And then goes away. And then you have to let it go. That's the part that is hard for people. They'll sit there and worry about that one trip they had. Now, because I thought about my mother dying, she's going to die. Oh, my God. Don't do that. Let that go. Okay? You saw it, and now it's over. Bring yourself back to center. Oh, okay. Am I dead? Are my arms broken? My heart's beating? Can I do math? I can do math. I'm not crazy. Okay, everything is fine. Everything is still fine. Alright. Now I know that I love my mother, and I need to really respect the time I have left with her. Let's move on to the next trip. Another thing you can do, pop lavender pills. Lavender is scientifically known for inducing calm, so you can do that, and that will kind of guide your experience too. But just being able to let that stuff go. If someone, blah, 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 what's your opinion on nature? You asked me, but you need to be more specific. Is there a good CPU under $700? Dude, there's a lot of good CPUs under $700. Look at the 8 series and the 7 series CPUs, and look in the i5. You'll find some really good stuff. And if you get secondhand, oh my God, you're gonna find some really good stuff. Damn it, he's just gonna do damage, that dick. Don't forget, time is also affected by gravity. The further you get from gravity, the less time moves. But that's actually true. Isn't that fascinating? So it's like, it literally is a concept that does not exist, but we need it. Then again, I don't know if I need it so much. I haven't really had a... How do I say this? I haven't known what day it is unless I have like a schedule for a long time. It's been a long time. I almost never know what day it is. So I just live like, now I'm here. Do your dreams continue each time you sleep, or are they different? They're different, but they're similar, but they're always different. But I am always... Okay, this is the weird thing. Lately, my dreams are I'm with a group of strangers that I don't really know, but somehow I'm connected to them, like they're my friends or they're people taking care of me or something. And we're in like a hotel, or it's normally a hotel. It's like a giant building, and I'm living in a foreign country, or at least a country that I'm not familiar with. But it's not foreign, obviously. It's just it's not here. It's not America, It could even be a city in America, but normally it's in a foreign country. And I'm doing things that I'll either deeply regret or need to do out of necessity, like I'll have to kill somebody, or I'll have to go try to find a new place, or I'll end up on the roof, or I'm traveling. The only problem is I need to stop smoking so much weed before I go to bed. I smoke weed so that I can sleep, because I don't sleep very well. I've got insomnia. I've had it my whole life, and that sucks. But... so I smoke weed so that I can sleep, but the thing is, I just don't dream as well. I won't remember them, so I need to... Oh, beautiful. I need to do better about that. In fact, there are issues with the movement of time. Have you ever considered making a video about how important it is to be born in the right country and how it shapes the person, and especially their opportunities? Oh, man. I've thought about it. I've really thought about it, especially having gone to Vietnam. I'm like, oh my God, I got so lucky being an American. It's not fair because I don't like being an American. I don't like what America stands for a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong, I love this country. Please do not get me wrong. I do not hate this country. I love this country. It's beautiful and it's wonderful. I am very privileged. I'm richer than a lot of these littler nations where I can just go there and live for years without ever working because I had $10,000, you know. Fake numbers, but I'm just, you know. Do you think that collective consciousness, like how all cells in our body make up conscious, yet the cells themselves aren't conscious, like all humans are cells to something bigger? Ah, see, now that's if you get into the whole, like, Gaia planet thing. Like, how alive is this place, and what really are we kind of thing. I love playing around with those ideas. I don't know. I can't know. Some scientists might figure it out, but, you know, like, the best you can do is try to come up. I had this trip once that describes it perfectly. It was beautiful, and it only lasted a second, but it was so vivid. And this is what I'm talking about. It was so vivid, it felt like I was there forever, but it only lasted a second. But I had like this vision of a guy. It was a man, and he was in a morph suit that was constantly changing colors. And he was in a box that he was scrunched up in, and he was also inside changing a bunch of colors. And he was doing this. And I could tell that the man was blind. He was he couldn't see, and he was just doing this. And I realized, well, at least this is how I interpreted it. I was that blind man. I am a blind man trying to figure out the world around me. You know, and that is my position here. I will never know because I'm blind. I'll never know. But he didn't stop trying to figure it out because he was blind. He still tried figuring out what was going on, where he was. So that's, you know, that's me, I think. I'm a blind man trying to figure it out. Wow, that was a really good example about how bad trips can actually be good. I love the mom and spend more time with her example. Also, how do you know the drugs you take aren't tampered with? Now, that's important. That's very important, because if you get an NBME, 2 of those can kill you. That's the most important thing about taking psychedelics is thinking you're taking a psychedelic and not. So get something. It's called an Elric testing kit. You can buy them anywhere. And what they do is they test pH levels. So you can find out if what you have is real. For psilocybin, it's easy. For psychedelic mushrooms, it's easy. If you pick up a psychedelic mushroom and you bruise it and it bruises blue, it's a psychedelic mushroom. Psilocybin bruises blue. So if you squeeze the mushroom and it turns blue, you got a psychedelic mushroom. But for LSD, you need to get a testing kit. Trust me, it is important. It's not worth your life. 1 trip is not worth your life. You can die. I want a short trip. Wait, sorry guys. I know we're talking a lot about a bunch of different stuff. I want a short trip, nothing too long. DMT seems like a good option, but I'm not experienced with LSD or shrooms or anything like that besides weed. I'd start with mushrooms, honestly. DMT is so freaking weird and it'll scare the shit out of you. I promise you. I promise you, start with mushrooms and take a low dose. Just take like 1.5. You'll understand. You'll be like, okay, you know. And they are short. They're like 4 to 6 hours, you know. BulletBarry, that your personality and how you think is the product of culture and experience, or that it's just predetermined. Oh, yeah. No, I think you can be guided. The same way humans think that they can manipulate each other, and some of them do. You can totally be guided. You can tell someone, you know, like, if you've ever had a manipulative boyfriend or girlfriend, that's what I feel the media is. It's a manipulative boyfriend or girlfriend, right? So that whole argument I was having earlier with Muttley, the whole Pence and that woman having a debate, instead of us talking about what they said, we cannot shut up about the fly. We're just going to talk about the fly because we're not interested in having people actually listen to the content. You know, why does that help us? It'd be more beneficial if I turn their heads a different direction. So, yeah, I don't think that nature predetermined the way I think. I think if that's the case, a lot of us wouldn't be so religious. You know? What you do through your life changes you. and you live moment to moment. If someone took me and convinced me that their cult was the way to go and I believed it, it doesn't mean that nature predetermined me to be involved in that cult, you know? But then you got to ask, what decided those events? What decided that cult to eventually reach me? You know, was it just good advertising? Was it a coincidence? Are coincidences even a thing? You know, like you got to deal with a lot of crap in order to get with these kinds of, I don't know. It's hard to say. That's why I like playing with it, but I'm like, I can't go anywhere with that. Any book recommendations? Yes. There's one that I really liked when I was depressed, called The Chimp Paradox. And it separated the brain in 3 different ways. Muttley actually told me to get it. It separated the brain in 3 different categories. There's the monkey. The monkey is your emotions. So you'll be sitting there driving down the road, and all of a sudden you'll feel anxious. And people will, instead of realizing I feel anxious, they'll just start getting road rage. Like, get out of my way, you stupid idiot! You know, like freaking out. So instead, what this book says is that your monkey just freaked out. Your monkey has become scared. So you are the second part of your brain. You are the analytical thinker. You are the one who has the mind. The monkey doesn't. The monkey is 5 times stronger than you because it's an ape. It's bigger than you. It's stronger than you. It can make you feel. But you are the owner. You're the one who trains the ape. So what you do is you don't kick yourself. You say, hey, ape, thank you for the emotion. Thank you. I'm glad to have had it. But it's not necessary. What's scary here? What's happening? We're not in danger. We're driving down the road. He's going a little slow, but that's okay. We're not in a hurry, are we? Are we in a hurry? Everything is fine. You know? And you calm your ape down. There's then the third part of your brain that is the computer. Now, the computer is when you're going through and you're just kind of turned off, you're just like, you know, a day's a day, whatever, fuck it, you know, like, and you have automatic responses. Someone will be like, hey, Barry, you know, I was at the park the other day and this happened. And you're like, yeah, you know, my buddy was over, and you're like, yeah, you know, it's automatic response. You can train your brain to change out these automatic responses. So instead of saying, yeah, you actually give a different reply. Maybe instead of saying, yeah, you train yourself to go, okay, think about what he actually just said. So then now you're bringing yourself back and going, okay, sorry, can you say that again? I was really lost in my head. What were you saying, you know? And just be honest with him. So I'd recommend that book. It was a really interesting one, especially when I was depressed. I was like, what is wrong? Why am I so sad? And then I was like, okay, my monkey is sad. Well, let's go slap that monkey around a few times and make it happy again. But like that's just essentially what I mean, is see the problem external from yourself. You know, don't kick yourself for the thing. And I like that book for it. Which state are you in? Meow. Meow. Oh, Henry, it's okay. It's okay. I have played Risk of Rain 2. Holy crap, you guys ask a lot of questions. I'm trying to get to the... Yeah, sleep journal. I definitely need to keep one. Also, BulletBarry, you could look into the Dream Diary. Yep, yeah, no, I absolutely need to. Have you ever heard of fatal insomnia? Well. Oh, buddy, it's okay. What's going on? Is Barry not loving you enough? He's a prick. He's talking to strangers online instead. I know. What an asshole. I know. What is he gonna do? Going on to the idea that ignorance is bliss. Do you ever wish you could go back into a time where you didn't think existentially in a wider way? If you know what I mean. And I have, but I also wasn't happy then too. Back when I was that way, and maybe it's just that that's interesting. I was never content to be where I was at, and I'm still not content to be where I'm at. I don't sit here and look at myself and go, okay, I've reached it. You know, I've not done enough. So I think that personality kind of kicks that concept's ass a little bit. I love the idea of ignorance is bliss, and I think that I could say, and I have said it to myself, maybe you shouldn't have done this. Maybe you shouldn't have opened up that gate in your head. You could have kept that closed and never wondered about it. You'd have been fine. You know, you'd have just been like, airsoft is cool, and I like playing games. And that's great, you know, but now here I am sitting there going, you know, is there some sort of celestial being out there and I'm part of it, and like, what the hell, and I can't ever get these. It's not that I can't get them out of my head. I love talking about them. What sucks is when I go to talk about these ideas with other people is I get the reply, I don't understand you. You're crazy. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you don't understand me, trust me, I can explain it better. Ask me questions, you know? But instead, people don't want to open their minds the way that I don't know. That's kind of a narcissistic thing to say, I think. But this is the mentality that I meet. I meet people who say things like, you know, when you talk, all I hear is, oh, bread and meat and, you know, cheese, and you put more meat on it and then another slice of bread, and that's a sandwich. Whoa. And I'm like, okay. If that is what you've gotten from what I've said, you've literally just told me you didn't get it. Ask me questions here so then I can better explain. But it's also like if the majority of the people that are around you are the kind of people who are disinterested in the conversation and who are people who are not interested in opening their minds up to the conversation, then you are left a very lonely person, which can make you very sad and can lead you to that kind of existential thought, like, why did I do this to myself? I have literally made myself the kind of person that is inhuman. I can't talk to my fellow humans anymore. And if I do, I'm having conversations about breasts or weed, you know, something that I don't give a shit about. Like, not that I don't give a shit about. I mean, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just like, if I'm gonna have a conversation, let's have a conversation. You know, let's think outside the box a little bit. I'm gonna say I couldn't be happier that I am the kind of person that I am, and I have these kinds of thoughts. I am blessed, I think, but I'm also cursed with it. So it runs both ways. It's a gift and it's a curse. And I went way too far with that, but what would you sacrifice for unknown, enticing knowledge about the universe? Nah, not to say you can't grab anything from psychs of what those questions which lack the full answer. See, that's the thing about psychedelics. They don't give you answers. They'll show you something and they'll be like, now you have that question for the rest of your life. Haha, you know, and you're like, oh, damn it, you know. I don't know if I would want to know. I don't know if I would want to know. Like, so what would I sacrifice to know? See, that's the thing. That's what I was just talking about, though, because it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter what I know. Unless I'm able to legitimately math it out and back it with physics, and which you can't do once you get beyond that plane. Like, you at least as far as I know, you can't. I could be wrong about that. I'm no scientist, you know? But as far as it seems, this is a plane that's non-Euclidean. We don't have an ability to math this thing out, you know? So whatever the universe is, the third dimension, we can calculate. We can math that out. I don't need to know anything about it. I've got people working on it. They're telling me, and I guess, have to believe them, you know? As far as these questions that I can never answer, they don't bother me to not be answered. They're just there. They're questions. Maybe it's the point, you know? I'm not supposed to know, but I at least have them, and I can play around with it, and as long as I'm here, I'll just play around with these ideas, you know? Take your shirt off. What the hell? Is there any concern Whoops. Shoot, guys. Is there any concern then to the homegrown psyops here on YouTube? You and many good others tell your audience to think for themselves, but some really do force their views on young minds. And I hate that aspect of it too, because I'm kind of doing it. You know, I'm kind of doing it myself. But it's not fair because I can't be this over objective power where I can go, all right, here's my views, right? Here's everyone else's views. I can't do it. I can only share what I have, you know? So I can just be like, you know, here's what I've seen. For those of you who are never going to try these things, kudos to you. I don't ask anyone to try them. I'm not interested in anyone trying them, you know? I just did, and I want to talk about it. You know, that's as far as it ever needs to go. And if people ask me, hey, I want to try them, but I want to try them because of you, I'd say, don't do it. Don't try them because I did. Try them because there's a reason you want to. Go research them. This is what my brother, when I was tried them for the first time, and I opened up and I told him that I tried them. He came to me one day and said, I think I'd like to try those someday. And I said, why? And he couldn't give me an answer. And I said that I'm not interested. I'm not, you need to tell me why. Go give me a reason, and then I will show you. But I'm not going to just let you do it willy-nilly. That's not why you take them, you know? So, it's just got to be, it can't be because some YouTuber told you, you know? This sucks. I might die. Oh no, I can live. I'll be okay. Do you have any thoughts about death? Oh, all the time. All the time. Actually, can I run you through this? Here's a fun little story for you. I'll run you through this real quick. So, when I was an atheist, I was totally fine with the idea of death. I was like, whatever. I just am no longer conscious. I just don't exist anymore. That's it. Fuck it. I'm dead. Why is it a problem? You know? And now, so actually, hang on. Let me go through. So I have that as an atheist. Take mushrooms, and I don't have an experience that blows me out of my body or anything. I just have experiences, and I'm like, life is beautiful, and everything's amazing, and why did I ever think that I should hurt people? And then I take LSD, and I'm like, wow, there's like a universe out there that's really crazy. Holy shit, like Rick and Morty is onto something. And then I take DMT. And DMT blasts me out of my body, makes me die, and shows me that there's continuation. And I come back, and I'm like, okay, that was something. And for a while, I was like, shit, I don't just die. And that bothered me. I was like, I don't just die. I move on. I go into another life. Like, there's something next. And I was so attached. I was like, it was like, as a matter of fact, I move on. I go next. And I was like, that bothered me. That scared me. I was like, I don't want to move. I wanted to just die. Like, I don't need more. So, at this point, my thoughts on death are like everything else. I can't know, you know. I want to say you have this experience, you believe it for a little bit, you think about it for a while, and then you come back to rationale and you go, okay, I can't know. I can't know. I played with the thought. I can't know. That's how it goes for me, at least. So, as far as I think now, it doesn't scare me anymore to think I move on. I'm actually comforted recently by the idea that there's something after, which is weird, and I don't know why. Like, I remember the specific trip I had that changed my mind, but I don't know why. And I don't want to go into it because it's really crazy. So, what do you use for your hair? What game do you recommend playing while being on shrooms? I don't. Have you ever seen the movie The Platform? It's a decent narration of human selfishness and the idea that if all humans work together, we'd be more efficient and fulfilled. I'll have to watch it. Oh, Antichamber is great. Kitty Cam or bust. All right, let's here. So this is Yuffie. We got Yuffie here. And Henry's now super jealous. We got Henry and Yuffie, and they love each other. They're good friends. That butt sniff is telling. If you want something funny to read, it goes by the name Frail. Do you think it's worth it to go chase something like happiness, meaning, or even dreams? Well, yeah. I mean, these exist, and they make you feel better than being sad, so yeah, go for it. What the hell? Do you speak any other languages? Lo siento para mi español. No. Tengo 4 años de español en escuela, pero no practico en 6 años, so mi español es malo. Pero I know enough to get by-ish a little bit in Spanish. My Vietnamese will be a little bit better once I go back. But, you have another animal in your bed. Oh, yeah, that's Princess. Whoops. Most people aren't open-minded to things they don't understand. I like open-minded people. They're more interesting to be around. That's who I always tried to find. I always noticed that I was the kind of person where I would meet someone, I'd absorb their character, and then I'd do it again. Like, I would meet someone and I'd be like, they are so damn smart. And then I would just be around them for so long, I just was able to, I guess, absorb that intelligence. I mean, in a way, it was kind of like that. Not exactly, but in a way, it was kind of like that. And I hate to say it, but I would move on. I'd get bored. I'd be like, they don't have anything to say to me anymore. You know, it's all the same stuff they've always talked about. And now I feel like I'm fully proficient in all their, you know, all that stuff. And I'd move on. A friend of mine related it to, he actually noticed it in me. He said, you know what you are, Barry? You're the kind of neighbor who lives in a cul-de-sac. And I was like, okay, explain this. He goes, okay, so everyone has their door. Everyone has their door. My door is guitar. Alex's door is video games. Jake's door is cryptocurrency, right? Oops. But you live in the cul-de-sac. And you walk up to people's doors and you knock on them and you open up the door and you look around for a little bit. And then you move on to the next door and you do the same thing. You're the kind of guy who opens himself up to all the doors. And I was like, damn, that's a really good analogy. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So he ended up seeing that in me, and I think it... How comfortable are you disclosing your religious affliction or affiliation? I'm very comfortable. Whatever you want to ask. I personally don't care about death anymore. I'm kind of tired of living. Well, I'm not tired of living. I die. My father always said, he would say, dying is the easiest part of living. Cracks me up. You can't know that kind of stuff, but probably dying's the easiest part of living. You should play TF2. You should also watch The Egg. It's very interesting. I have watched The Egg. I really like The Egg. It's a really interesting idea. For those of you who don't know, the idea of the egg is pretty much reincarnation, but the idea is that you live a full life, you die, you move on, you live another full life and you die, and you move on, and it's not linear like time works. I could be buried this year, and then my next life, I'm in the 14th century as some, Roman guard, and that's who I am. And then my next life, I'm, way back in, some caveman era. But then the idea is, as you go through every single life, you have to live every single individual life that is ever lived from the time humans were made to the point that the earth is destroyed or whatever. And then you get to become a god because now you understand what life is. So then all of your life experiences are compiled together in this one unified being, and now you get to go make universes or whatever gods do. I don't know, whatever the next step in that is. I really like the idea. It's a clever story for sure. Capitalism? Opinions on capitalism. My opinions on capitalism used to be a little more aggressive, and now they're more laxed. I like George Carlin's ideas on stuff. He says, it's a show. This life, it's a show. And if you live in America, you get a front row seat. He said, no, that's what he says. It's a show, but it's a shit show. And if you live in America, you get a front row seat. Which cracks me up. But his point on you can't get into it. You can't get involved. Because if you get involved, you're going to end up on a side. And then you're going to be really angry at the other side. And then there's all going to be you're just going to be overwhelmed and under the influence of people who are trying to sway your mind a certain direction. So instead, look at it and laugh. It's a joke. It's the whole point. It's just a game. It's you know, just laugh at it. And he used the idiocy, the idiocracy around him for his comedy. He's like, hey, I'm going to point out how dumb people are. It's not like we don't see it. Are these people dumb? And then everyone laughs and has a good time, you know? So when it comes to my opinions on capitalism, I think that's as far as it really needs to go. It is what it is, and you can laugh at it, you know? Give me something else. Ooh, that's just gonna hurt. Yep. I just came back. Why were we talking about eggs? Chicken or the egg? What do you believe in religion-wise? You mentioned you were an atheist at one point. What are you currently? So, I don't think I'm anything currently. If I had to put a label on myself, like someone said, you have to have a label. You have no choice. You have to have a label. What is the closest thing? I'd have to say maybe Taoism. Taoism is very similar to Buddhism. The differences are that Taoists use psychoactive compounds to reach these heightened states of mind. And that just, you know. But the thing is, in order to be you know, a Taoist or a Buddhist, you have to believe the things that you're being told. And I don't. It's not like, you know, I'll play with the idea, but I just cannot give myself to one. There's so many, you know. I couldn't just be like, yeah, the universe is just a giant consciousness and that's what it is, you know, and I'll reincarnate a million times and that's how it goes, you know. If I live my life that way, it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't hinder me, but it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel right, you know. There's too many other options out there, and I'm closing my mind off because I want to believe that I reincarnate and that we're just a giant simulated consciousness. Our universe made up of math. So someone turned on a computer, and then the consciousness went, what am I? Wait, why am I here? Okay, I'm going to try to figure this out. Here's all the different ideas that could have happened. Okay, I'm going to make monkeys turn into humans in this one. I'm going to make lobsters turn into some consciousness in this one. This universe is just all energy, whatever, but it's all mathematically based, you know? Like, who the heck knows? I've seen Sword Art Online. Yeah, I like that one. dove too much into philosophy without precautions, which is really dangerous. That's why I'm kind of tired of living. Yeah. I mean, is that whole sad nihilism thing? Like, go into what your thoughts are on stuff. The book I liked was called The Chimp Paradox. What's your favorite sandwich to eat? So I've been making my own. I like... Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm just dead. It's over. Ow. What I'll do is I'll take mayonnaise, mustard, spicy okra, and then I'll put like an egg or something, spicy mustard over the top of that, some cheese, and then I'll eat the shit out of it. I'm glad I found your channel 2 years ago. I wouldn't have been the same person without your recent videos. I'm learning a lot. I'm glad to hear. See you, Luca. I'm glad I found... Oh, wait. How would you view 2017 Barry from an objective view? Ah. On his way, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say in an objective view, he was... I don't know, though. Like, there were a lot of ways that I was without realizing how awful I was. Like, just some things that I would do to people, ways I'd treat people, just was not chill. And I didn't realize it. I didn't know it was weird or bad or anything. I was just like, you know, selfish desire, me, I come first, you know. I still work through narcissistic tendencies, but, you know, done a lot better. Heck yeah. Damn, you grew a beard since the last time I seen you. Yeah, I grow this out, and then whenever I get too much of it, I'll shave it off. And lately, I like the hair more than I like me without the hair, especially with longer hair. All right, Gremlin. Whoa, I did good. I do not want that one. Yes! Dude, that's sick. Panacea? Cool. Alright, so I just got... I don't need this one. But 2 lightnings are great because those can become 0-cost cards. So... Bam, bam. I'm sure it's a frequent question, but when is the next Console Peasant Quotes? I started watching you for those, and I love your arguments. Honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if I will do one, and I'm afraid to say that, but if some of you guys are only here for that, I can't tell you that it's, you know, always just coming. I just don't know. What happened to your iconic series? A True Service, Everything is Person to Person. Yeah, I actually might go back and redo some of those, especially the Everything is Person to Person. Kind of makes sense to go back and redo some of those. I got a lot of old videos that I'd like to have redone. Are you vegetarian? No, no, no. Not really nihilism, but I use it as a metaphor. Your mind is like a mansion and you have an amount of pillars holding it up. In the past, one of my very few pillars went down. Well, damn. I don't know. Like, without knowing any specifics of what you believe, it's hard to like, because I would debate it, you know? There was this guy, for example. I met him in Utah, and he told me that he'd smoked DMT. And I asked him about his experience, and he said it was horrible. And I was like, why? Why was your experience bad? You know, like, what happened? And, damn. Damn it, that was not the right move. Ah, shoot. So he said that what he was shown was that he is a being. Okay, let me go. Actually, what he said was he went up to this place where a being showed him that we are a movie. So the being took him, showed him our planet, and said, "You're a movie. Watch this." And he could reverse it. He could go forward in time. He could show him his whole life. And he's like, "You are a movie. You are entertainment for us. We watch you." And then he went back into his body. And he said, "From that point forward, I realized life is meaningless and nothing is worth shit, you know? And that I'm only here to be someone else's fun." And I was like, okay, wait a minute, though. Because... And I said, "Do you mind if I give you an alternate theory?" And he's like, "Yeah, fine." I said, "Okay, so think about it like this. What if what you are is one of those things? And you decided you wanted to be part of the movie, just the same way like when you're sitting down watching a performance on stage, you know those aren't the real people. They're actors. They're fake. They're playing those characters. You had a chance right now to play this character for those people. You're an actor. So why not live the best life and show them a good show? You know? Why did you do this in the first place? Maybe you were put here, but maybe you chose to be here. Who the hell knows? You can't know that." And he got pissed off. He got really mad. He actually was like, he took me outside and he was like, "Hey, I like being dumb. Okay? And I'm smart in ways you'll never know." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I hear you. I'm just offering you a different idea. That's it." You know? So that's it's nicer if I have your idea, like where are you coming from? And then at that point, I can be a dick. Did I go to college? I was gonna, and then I ended up getting a job doing what I wanted to do, so I decided not to. And I may go back to college, but no pillars left, and now I have to hold myself up. What direction do you think the channel's going in the near future? This channel might just go back to being BulletBarry. I honestly might just go back to doing console peasant quotes and everything is person to person and crapping on Sony and Microsoft and, you know, all that. I might. So I don't know at this time because I'm working on other channels. So until I know where and what I want to do, it's just kind of going to be a whatever the heck happens. Now, I want a smith because I want to turn these into 0 cost cards. Because if that turns 0 and that turns 0, I have lightning for free. I need it, even though I'm... Oh, but perfect. Okay. Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to heal or I'm going to die. Bam, bam. So I can either heal here... I'm going to just do it. I'm going to be dumb. It's fine if you don't do console peasant quotes. I've come with PC content and I've stayed for your personality. I'm glad to hear. There are a lot of people who haven't, though. But then again, do I really need to keep the kind of people who are just sticking around for stuff that they, you know, like if you want to see specific stuff, then, you know, maybe you'd stick around for... Oh, that's so much better. I'm doing so much damage to him now. Okay, this is gonna suck, though. Oh, that's really gonna suck. Ouch, 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 ouch. Don't. Okay. Now he's gonna weaken me, so I need to really hit him hard. Get wrecked, you bitch! Alright, that was beautiful. Bottled lightning. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope. That's a dumb idea. Nope. Not doing that either. Do you have any other channels yet? So, yeah, I'll show you this. I'll go ahead and show you this. So, if we go to youtube.com/porn and go to... Oh. Tripping Hazard. That's what I'm calling this channel. Whoops. Tripping Hazard. So there is... What the heck? Oh, there we go. So there is this one, if you guys are interested. this is where I'm going to talk about stuff like this and psychedelic kind of stuff. I have one that I'm going to be doing r/ kind of content on. I'm going to do a horror stories channel. I have one that's going to be just called Barry Allen, where it's going to be more like what BulletBarry turned into, where Barry Allen just kind of says whatever he needs to. Like, you've got 2 Clicks Philip and 3 Clicks Philip, and then that, I think he's got Clicks Philip, and Clicks Philip is this one where he just says whatever he wants to, and then some of those videos can evolve into videos for his other channels. I think that'd be nice to have a medium where I can just say whatever I want, and then be like, okay, that's BulletBarry content, because that's tech. Throw it up on there. You know, or that's, you know, a story, so I can do that on this, you know. And then I may also do a channel called Barry Hugs, where I'll just retell all my stories. And I'll do them, like, in front of the camera with my face and all that, so it's more engaging. And merch, maybe. Change for the better, do what you want, do what you love, bring us on the trip, take across the world in your van. Oh yeah, you know I will. And I might even make another channel. Like, I may make a separate channel for all that. BulletBarry, I did like old BulletBarry, sure, but honestly, this new content of yours is I find 100 times more interesting. It's great. Will you marry me? You gotta have money or looks. Oh no, I just left. No, I'm just messing around. Great to know about your second channel. I subscribed. Oh, awesome. All right, let's do this. Boy. Hopefully I don't die. This is going to be really intense. Okay, I need that. Hey, kitty. What's going on, you baby? You mentioned that the USA doesn't quite represent your beliefs. Which country do you think represents it best? I don't think there is a country that represents my beliefs best. What I want to do, honestly, and I think this might be a great idea for the future, I want to take a bunch of millennials, or at least like generations around mine, who are fed up, who are like, I was born into this country where they tell me I have to be patriotic. They tell me I have to support them because I was born here, which, yeah, that makes sense. You know, like pledging loyalty to something that I didn't choose. Great, you know. I have to worry about money. I have to worry about working my entire life away, you know. And it could be easy. So what I want to do is take all those people, collectively gather them together under one idea and say, okay, give me all your money. I'm going to use it to buy us an island. We're going to go to that island, and then anything we want, we'll just, with each other. Like, it's not a big deal. We'll just live easy, you know? If we need food, we'll go hunt some squirrels. We'll go hunt some wildlife. We'll make sure the wildlife replenishes itself. We'll be smart about how we, you know, act and all that, you know? Just make it easy. But I don't know if there's a country. What's cool is when I was in Vietnam, the only law that they had was don't talk ill about their president. Don't say anything bad about the government. So long as you do that, you don't hurt anybody, you're totally fine. You know, I like that idea. That's really laxed. But people get pissed because they're like, that's communism. Or if I say my thing about, you know, say I'm on this island, I need a lawnmower. I know Timothy has a lawnmower. I'm going to go knock on his door. Hey, Timothy, I need to borrow your lawnmower. I want to let you know whenever you need it back. It's in my place. He's like, okay, yeah. I go grab it and I use it, and then when he needs it, he comes, knocks on my door. Hey, Barry, I need my lawnmower back. All right, take it. You know? Like, we don't have mine there. We have ours. But then people freak out. That's communism! Oh, no! And I'm like, would you shut up? You are too attached to your possession, okay? You are too attached to shit. This is mine. Mine. Screw you, it can be ours. It doesn't matter. I don't care about this thing, okay? Don't take my arm, that I care about. Don't take my life, that I care about. That's important. That's gonna keep me moving. But this microphone, if I'm not using it, why does it need to be here? Use it, you know? So that's cannibalism, of course. We're just gonna eat the shit out of each other. Oh, that's funny. Would you consider yourself a third-party supporter or libertarian? I just wouldn't. I don't consider myself anything. In my opinion, life is fun and worth as much as most people think. And it's worth it. Yeah, it's something just... It's sometimes just tiring to be a human, especially when you're under 18 and can't choose for yourself. No, that makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah. And stress and anxiety and all that. Like, sometimes I'll be walking down the road and I'm like, I am stressed out. Why? And when I start thinking about it, two things come to me. I'm like, either I have this weird fear that someone's gonna hurt me or something. Like, there's nothing around that's gonna cause me any problems, so it can't be that, right? Where's this anxiety coming from? And then I'll think, is this external? Am I feeling like the sadness and the pain? Like, empaths tell me, people who are incredibly empathetic, who claim to feel, other people's feelings, which I think I've done. Like, I feel like that's happened to me, but I don't know if it's an exact science. I haven't looked that up much. But either way, am I feeling the anxiety and the pain from people external from me? Like, just other, And when I wonder that, there are people who've told me that once you can feel that, the pain from others, now you're alive. And now you're connected. And that pain is what living is. It sucks, it's not fun, but it's what connects you to life. You have to be in pain. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe sometimes you just are sad for no reason, and that sucks. But will you vote in the upcoming election? No. Because it doesn't matter who wins. They both are shit. So it's just gonna be the same that it was last time. Which, don't get me wrong, if you're gonna vote and you believe like your vote matters and all that, I'm not even sure it does. It could be predetermined already that Biden's gonna win, or Hitler 2.0. Sorry, I'm just digging around. Like, it could just be decided that they're whoever's gonna win is gonna win, and then we get to decide, or we get the choice. We get this illusion of choice. The fact that could be so possible makes me go, why even? Like, yeah, I'd throw my vote in and be like, Biden. But I don't know. Just it's not gonna even help me to have Biden. I didn't want him. I want someone who gives a crap about this place. And you just keep getting these people who seem to be puppets, that claim that they want to change everything around, but have you seen it happen? I don't know. Which ones have you been to? The UK? I've been to the UK. I've been to Thailand, but a small island, and then I've been to Vietnam. I really loved Vietnam, as you guys know. I really loved the UK. I want to go back there. I want to travel all over Europe. I think that'd just be great. Merch. You keep asking for that, man. I don't have any now. I just, maybe someday I'll have merch. What happens if someone uses something you need but won't let you use it because they currently are? Well, then I'll wait. I've got patience. Okay, so I was going to mow my lawn today. I was also going to fix my car, and I was going to, water some plants, or I was going to go to a dinner or something. So, okay, he has the lawnmower. That's fine. I can't mow my lawn. That's fine. I'll do that tomorrow. I've still got other things I can do. And then if not, whatever. So then he's got the lawnmower. Guess who gets to play video games all day? Not him. He's mowing his lawn. I'll just say, hey, when you're done with this, drop it off at my house and knock on the door. People can be chill. I don't know why it's so hard for people to think like, oh, but there's so many things that could go wrong. But like, it wouldn't if you're a practical, rational person, and you're just easy about things. You just be like, look, I need the lawnmower whenever you're done. And then 2, if there is someone who's going to cause problems like that all the time, get off my island. You're not welcome here anymore, you dick. Get off the island. This is about being chill. And if you're going to sit there and hoard stuff because you're a greedy bastard, you can leave. We're not interested. That's why we left. Go away. Here's your boat. Get on it. You had your chance. I'm just not dealing with that. I always thought if voting actually changed something, they'd make it illegal. See, who was that? The guy who wrote, who was that? Tom Sawyer? The guy who wrote Tom Sawyer? I always thought empaths were just so locked into their body that they just understand how people in person acts based on emotions. And that could be. But my brother is not the kind of person who makes crap up. I've never known him to make anything up. So when he told me that he was an empath, I was like, okay, go into that. What do you mean? And he told me when he was a kid, he had to learn to put up a wall because he would walk around school and people's emotions would infiltrate him. And he'd go, why am I so sad? I'm not sad. And then he'd look around the class and he'd see a girl and she's miserable. And he's like, why do I feel her pain? I'm not her. So he'd have to put up a wall and be like, that's not me. And he thought that was normal. He's like, he said his whole life, he thought that's how everybody was. It was so innate to him. And then when I would tell him how I felt about things, he'd be like, how does he not feel these emotions from other people? You know? Why is he not dealing with the same stuff that I am? And then he told me about it, and I was like, Dev, are you nuts? Are you, like, mental or something? And he's like, no, this is real. I feel this. You know? I just don't know him to make stuff up like that, so it's hard to say, you know? It could just completely be a deeper understanding of human emotions. But he's told me before that there have been days where someone walks into his store, ouch, and he'll have a thought. Like, he'll see this woman, and she looks miserable, and then he'll get an image of a closet, you know? And he's told me this has happened to him a couple times before. He'll get an image of a closet. And she and he will get into a conversation. Either it's his coworker or it's some customer. And he'll say, hey, how you doing? And he's really empathetic, so he'll ask about that kind of stuff. Hey, how you doing? Like, you know, I see you're kind of sad. What's going on? And she will mention some trauma that happened to her regarding being locked in a closet. And that today was a really bad day for her. And he would sit there and go, okay, what the hell? Like, and he said he would not tell anybody about that because he's like, that's just crazy. It's not real. Like, it doesn't exist. But maybe emotions can be that strong. Why do you think music, you know, you listen to a song and it makes your heart explode and you feel what that artist was saying? Why does that happen if emotions don't transfer energy or information? You know, there's got to be something to that, right? But would you like help with some graphics? I'd make it for free. Scar, hit me up on Discord, please. Berry branded shrooms. Oh my god, that'd be horrible. Also, when you're used to pain, no pain feels worse than pain. But don't you think human nature would take over and people would just go berserk on that island? Maybe, but not if they were actually like me, you know? Like, I know I'm not trying to say that I'm so special or different. What I'm saying is I'm not special or different. There are so many like me. I meet them all the time, you know? Where I'll sit down, I'm with a stranger and I'm sitting down and he pulls out a joint. And he's like, you know, I was going to smoke this, but you can have it. I was like, you bought that. Why? You don't even know if I smoke. And he's like, dude, we're in Oregon. I know you smoke. I'm like, you don't even want to share it. They're like, no, whatever. I don't care. It's just stuff. Take it. I'll get more, you know? Or people who you do a project for them and they reward you with something that was way over what what you did for them. I helped a lady on the computer the other day. I helped her, there were a lot of fires here in Oregon, and I helped her get all of her stuff through FEMA and all that. And I told her that I'd charge her $40. I said, I'll give you $40 for this job. She gave me $100. I was like, that's way more than you should give me. You know, this job wasn't worth $100. And she's like, yeah, but you were patient, you were kind, and it's okay. You know, I'm not worried about it. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. We need, I guess we could screen people, you know, just give a test and be like, how addicted to people's shit is this guy? How addicted to it? You know, does he need his stuff? Does he see, like, when he has a thing and he's like, that's mine. That's mine. You don't touch that. All right. I won't touch it, but I won't be around. You'll be here in America. I'll be on the island. Screw you. You're not worth coming over. You know? Bullet, I mean something more important like life or death. I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, crap. That's why we need both Democrats and Republicans. We sometimes got to see things from both perspectives, even if we don't agree with them. I don't know if I agree with that. But, I mean, go into it a little more. Maybe I'm just not. I'm an empath too. At the age of 1, I cried because a kid in a children's book started crying. You think you're going to check out Apple's thing coming up? I'm not an Apple fan, but I'm curious as to what you think. Oh, look into Apple stuff. Probably. Have you read any socialist communist theory literature? You seem to have a lot of anti-capitalist views, and it seemed like the kind of person to at least find it interesting. I haven't looked in a lot. The only views that I have are because of what I've seen living here. And I didn't even see them until I left this country. Once I left, and then saw Vietnam and was like, wait, you guys love each other. You guys are strangers and you're calling each other brother and sister. Like, why don't we care like this? Why am I not getting up in the middle of the night, going out on some random street and dancing with 50 people? In America, you get a ticket for that. What the hell? You know, it like pissed me off. I was like, are you serious? You're just having a great time all the time. Why can't I have that? You know? So, yeah, I got a little miffed. I was like, really? We're not just going to be chill? I mean, you think of all these other countries that do it. Mexico, Belize, Vietnam, you know, there's these countries that live with their families forever, you know? And of course they're happier. They understand what family means. When you're in America, we say you're not a man unless you leave your family as soon as possible. If you leave your family and you can live on your own, then you're a man. Get away from your family as soon as possible, you know? And then as time goes on, we have a culture that don't really give a shit about each other because, you know, we're left to what's entertainment? Sitting here watching TV, binging brainless media, you know, watching the news. Well, how many of us play board games with our family anymore? How many of us get together every day, you know, and talk to each other? Or just sit down on the ground and watch the animals play with each other like a little Discovery Planet right in your living room? No, we feed them, sit them down, teach them, tell them no sometimes, and then we go back to our video games. You know? We're disconnected. And that's what I saw when I came back to America. I was like, we don't know how to care. It's not our fault. We just don't know how to do it. We convinced ourselves that freedom is locking ourselves in our little prisons and just living in this and being like, okay, I'm safe. That makes me happy. I'm safe. It's not happy. What are you doing? You know, go outside, God damn it. Go have a good time. Go dance with strangers you never met. Well, there's Corona. Don't do that now, but do you still feel sick from H. pylori? Sometimes. If I don't eat, then my body will eat me away really fast. I also get acid reflux pretty bad still. I've been watching this stream for an entire 3.5 hours, and I'm still wondering why you don't have a podcast. This is the most entertaining stream ever. I am so glad you guys think so. Like, I don't know what the hell I do for you guys that makes you think I'm just sharing, you know? And maybe that's it. Maybe other podcasters don't actually share the intimate stuff, but that's all I'm doing. I'm not this is how I think when people tell me. They'll say, "Barry, you're deep." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you, you know? Like, that is it. You can do it too." And this is what I get. I get this weird wraparound. I hate talking to people like this. But I'll sit there and I'm like, "Hey, this conversation about life and what happens after death." And people will come back at me because of, maybe it's my vocabulary or something. They'll come back at me with, what do they say? Like, "Oh, yes, yeah, higher thinking, and I think more perspectives is a good thing. I think more perspectives is good." And I'm like, why didn't you just listen to what I said? You know? Don't give me a blanket statement to try to just agree with me. Why didn't you dig into what I said? Ask a question or say, "Actually, that's an interesting point. I've thought similarly on this." You know? There was a thing you said about death that got me thinking, and I want to share it with you back. But I don't get that. I don't get that very often. I will. That's why I like hanging out with Muttley. Because as intense as his thoughts can be sometimes, he shares his intimate thoughts. That's all depth takes, you know? People will start to call you deep, and you're like, "No, I'm not." Maybe the closest thing Dev can do is something along the lines of deja vu. He thought that he pictured a closet, even though he didn't. Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know. I can't say it because I've never done that, you know? There have been days where someone walks into the room and I can feel, like, this stinging pain, and I'm like, okay, someone's pissed. Like, the energy totally changed in here. But I don't know if that's, like, me subconsciously picking up on mannerisms in their body, the way they move, their facial expression, and then resonating, or not resonating, but sympathizing with that emotion and being like, "Oh, that's pain," you know? Because why doesn't that happen all the time? I've seen people who look pissed. I could think the same thing. I could go, "Oh, they're probably pissed," and then get that feeling, but it doesn't happen then. It only happens when they're legitimately pissed. So is there something to this, is my question, you know? What do you think of the Ryzen series processors? Like I said before, I'm so glad Ryzen is coming back. That's so cool. I should keep playing. Can I immigrate to Berry Island? As long as there's no slaughtering of natives, I'm on board. Probably the best place in America in terms of people is Wyoming. I've heard that. But then again, the last free little strip is Alaska, I've heard too. Probably 100% confident most Americans don't know American history. They don't even know what the freedom was worth. I never raised how being patient was useful until I spent a bit of time in retail. Someone asked where something was, where I pointed it out. Where something was, and it was where I pointed it out first. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't really learn patience until I went to Vietnam. In Vietnam, you don't get to pick what happens in your day. You could be like, "Today I'm buying a lamp," and it's like, "No, you're not." You think you are, but you are not. You are getting dicked over all through the city all day. Maybe in the next week you'll find a lamp, and then you better pick it up then. I'll find you a lamp in the next week, but you're not finding a lamp today. So I had to learn patience completely. You inspired me to start smoking weed at the age of 14. Please don't start smoking weed until the age of 20. Please. if you do it now, it's your choice, but you know, that's just my thoughts on stuff. I didn't start until I was 23. Make a podcast. I'd love to listen to this when I skate. Oh, sweet. Make a podcast, please. Okay, I guess I'm making a podcast. I never got the whole leave your house like your parents' house. Like it's like you're dumb. It's cheaper. You can save up more money. You don't have to work so hard. See, and that's what I'm talking about. I've saved up a really humble amount, and all because I've lived here. And yeah, I get that look, like, you know, when I'm meeting women online, like I live with my parent, or I live with my brother and my mother, and they're like, oh, I see, you know. But I've got my life set up now. You know, I was able to buy a van. I'm going to be able to travel across America. I'm going to be able to go to a different country and live there for a little bit. You know, like, I never would have been able to do this had I had to settle down into a house. Out here, it's so expensive. They take all your money from your paycheck, you know? Any band recommendations? The Shins, first of all. One that I've been into right now. Oh my goodness. I love the way his sound just fills the room. It just feels like I'm floating. Lord Huron. Lord Huron has obviously been through an incredible psychedelic experience, but it seemed to treat him in a dark way, or it didn't treat me. Because he talks about, like, leaving his body, going out into the universe, realizing how scary the universe is, and how pretty much he sings in his songs that we're in shit. We're screwed in the cosmic scheme of things. I don't really see that, but whether it be true or not, doesn't matter. I'm living, so who cares? But yeah, he sings about dread and stuff, which is kind of interesting, but I love the way it sounds. Hey, Molinex! Dude! Hey! So I worked with this guy at Best Buy for a little bit. Good to see you, man. Okay, so I'm gonna go pee real quick, and I want to come back to all the... There's so much conversation happening. I could probably talk to you guys all day. And I love that. That's so great. Alright, be right back. Alright. I should probably play a game that I'm actually gonna play. Maybe I will put on some Isaac here, so I can... Right. It's because it's different than what you hear. Parents, personally, I feel like they have held my mental health back. No, seriously, okay, see, that's the thing. Like, not a lot of people are also very lucky, too. You gotta get, you know... Like, I know friends who are like, you live with your parents. Why would you ever do that? Like, my family is super religious and horrible and abusive and all this, and I'm like, that's you, dude. You know? Like, I'm really sorry that happened. I wish you didn't have to deal with that your childhood, but I didn't have parents like that. You know, mine have always been really supportive. I'm already in the middle of a run. The Four Horsemen of PC gaming, yep. BulletBarry honestly is deep nowadays because everyone lies and says they're fine, and people lie to themselves all the time for comfort. You used to look normal and now you look like budget Jesus. I can't play this. I can't play Isaac while also trying to talk to you guys. I just won't be able to do it. I'm just not going to be able to. The life-death situation... See, this is why. Because you got to pay attention to Isaac. Yeah, this is not going to work. Alright. Good try. We're going to go back to that clicky game. Alright. Okay, let me go back down. Make a podcast. I will. I promise you. I'll make a podcast. God damn it. There's so much here. Thoughts on evolution and natural selection? I agree. For now, it's a very rational hypothesis. don't in over your head, though. You have a lot of good ideas, but don't sacrifice quality over trying to put out a lot of videos. Well, no, and that's the thing. I want to put out like one video every 5 days. That's pretty much how I've been doing it lately. It's just one video every 5 days. I'll make a video, and then I'll leave it, and I'll do whatever I need to do the rest of the week, post it, and then I'll make another video, do whatever I got to do the rest of the week, and post it. I'm going to just try to do stuff like that, unless I have, for example, like a van video that I want to make you, just to kind of show you what's been going on with that. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm going. But everyone's like, weed chair. Any gaming headset recommendations? No. Sennheiser. Other than that, not really. You should play a multiplayer game. Yeah, but I want to be able to talk to you guys. That's the part about this that I'm enjoying the most. Damn, what's up, BulletBarry? Last time I watched you was like 2 or 3 years ago. You grew. I did grew. How's it going? It's good to see you again. So you got Daisy there. How often you play? Not very often. Would you recommend a job at the Medford Best Buy? If you can get a job at the Medford Best Buy, absolutely. It's a great place to work. I was working there technically 7 months, but for 4 of them I was, 8 months. But for 4 of them I was furloughed because of COVID. How often do you stream? You should more. Yeah, every day I wake up and I'm like, I should stream today, and then I don't. And I wake up, I'm like, man, you always love it when you stream. Well, you should stream more, and then I don't. Man, what the heck? So, well, that was a waste of an upgrade. Have you ever thought about playing or getting into fighting games? I like Smash Bros. Smash Bros is pretty cool. I keep getting the same enemies over and over again. It's like the first 2 enemies are always the same. Skip. How about Among Us or something like that? See, again, like I will do a day where I'll play something like that for sure. But for now, we're just going to have a chill chat day. I'm one of those people that could just travel across the country and leave all my material possessions behind. Yep. That was hard for me to think about at first. I was like, man, what about my charger? You know, like, I'm going to really miss that charger. And then I thought about myself without the charger and was like, oh, it's actually not that big a deal. It's just a car. I mean, I live in my car. How much cooler is that? That's like way neater. If you played some IO games that everyone could join. Oh, there you go. Yeah, put in an IO game. I'll play one of those. You jerk. He weakened me. That's what I hate about this guy. I've only got him halfway. That's not good. He's going to weaken me again. I'm screwed. It's over. Yep. I am screwed. But the boot gives me 4 less damage. And I can do 5 instead. I just have to kill him. I can do it. Oh. No. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. He can't weaken me less than this. I still get 5. Beautiful. So the first 2 things it upgraded was 2 defends. And now the second thing it just upgraded was 2 defends. Thoughts on the brain, the internet, and the universe having extremely similar web structures, and what that could possibility of the internet and the universe becoming conscious entities. Terence McKenna theorized that what humanity was working towards was what was it? Like electronic, yeah, I think so. An electronic consciousness. Or essentially building ourselves the ability to convert our consciousness into a frequency, because it might be already consciousness, a frequency, you know, like wave patterns, and I have mine. Mine is a specific pattern. Can't know, but how cool would this idea be, that we build a machine, and what it does is it takes your consciousness, it takes your information, and turns it into a frequency, and then sends it out up into space. So now you get to live permanently as energy instead of as a human being. You know? I don't know if that's really his theory. I've only lightly heard it like once or twice, but I think that'd be kind of interesting. I need something that's going to work with this. What exactly is the plan with the van? Just going wherever? Yeah, so I want to just travel serendipitously. So I'll end up in a spot. And, okay, poison. That's interesting. I'll end up in a spot, and I'll meet some people in that spot. And they'll say, hey, did you know, like 2 hours away, there's a waterfall? You know, nobody even knows about it. We just found it the other day. Go 2 hours down and go, you know, here. So then I make my way down there. And they're like, hey, did you know that there's some, you know, there's some hot springs, you know, just an hour and a half away. You know, go over here. There's some hot springs. And then I go over there. And I'm seeing these places that not a lot of people know about, these holes in the walls in America that nobody really knows about. It's all serendipitous. I'm guided by the experience instead of, you know, me planning everything. And, you know, just get to see and experience, and I may not even realize I moved a couple states over. I'm like, wow, I'm actually in Denver now. I didn't even know. Have you ever been interested in geopolitics or politics? If not, why? So this is just me, but I'm not interested in politics. It seems to be a mental trap, and I just am not interested. I will listen to someone's political ideas all day. If someone wanted to sit there and talk to me about what they believe, bring it on. Yeah, I'm more than fine to hear it. But I'm not interested in sitting down and listening to Trump and listening to Biden argue with each other. I'm not interested in going into, you know, what do libertarians believe today? What do, you know, the Republicans and the Democrats, what are they arguing about today? It seems to be a distraction, you know? I'm just not interested. I want to see the world. I don't care about humans' politics. It's like this, okay? It's the difference between a law of nature and a law of man. And we're so high and mighty, we sit here and we think that we have laws that actually mean shit. So here's a law for you. A law of nature. If I eat the brain of another man, I die. The law of nature I can't disagree with. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna develop a disease and die. There's another law of nature, gravity. If I jump out of a plane, I'm gonna die. Humans don't get to say, well, it's illegal to jump out of a plane because, I don't know, you know, or it's illegal to take this compound. No, it's just a fact of the matter. Someone can take a compound, you know? It's not a rule. It's not a law. So there are laws that are real and there are laws that are not. And if you pair this with the whole, you know, what's real and what's not, I'm less interested in take a situation like, or scenario like Game of Thrones, where I have to believe as a regular person that woman up on stage is more powerful than me and she gets to decide whatever happens. Yeah, I can play that game. It's a game. It's a game. I can play that game. I can sit there and be like, yeah, I'll serve you. Yeah, great. No, I'm not interested. I'm disassociating from that. That's stupid. I don't care that some human went up on stage and said, I'm better than the rest of us. I decide what happens here. No, don't care. See ya. You know? Really, that's as far as that goes for me. I want to go see what's real. And what's real, Earth has out there. There's a planet. There's continents. I want to see all that. That's what's real. I don't need to get involved in our fake politics and pretend that's real. It's horseshit. You know? It doesn't exist. But, again, That is just me. I really just went all in there. So if I was just, if I sounded angry, I'm not angry. That's just my take on all that. How much are you selling your Charger for? I'm in the market for a car. 13 grand? 13,000 if you want it. It's what Kelly Blue Book's for. Do you have any advice for an 18-year-old who's lost, feeling lost in life and doesn't find anything fulfilling? I feel like your life was so amazing and chill. And see, that's not true. That's not true. This is what I mean by you decide. You get to decide that, For example, when I was depressed in Vietnam, I told myself every day, tomorrow's going to get worse. It's been getting worse, and tomorrow's going to get worse. Tomorrow's going to suck even worse than today did, and it did. The next day was worse, and the next day was worse, and the day after that was worse. And I kept thinking, I'm never going to be fulfilled. I'm never going to be happy. This is all just going to be the rest of my life, But if you do the opposite and you say today sucked, but tomorrow will be a little better, and tomorrow will be a little better, and even if it isn't, you think about this. You say, okay, what happened today? I got yelled at. Someone was a dick in town. Someone cut in front of me. All these goddamn things. But you know what I did? I did go and get food, and I'm going to prepare a pretty awesome meal, and it's not just for me. It's for my family, I did that today. That's what I did. And if I can look back, I can say, forget the shit that I went through. I have the prize. This is what it was for. That's good. Okay, I had a good day. Tomorrow will be a little better, And then the next day happens, and you're rewarded for that. It was a little bit better, and that kind of continues. I know that sounds so simple, but that's what I had to tell myself. I had parents when I was a kid who were violent to each other, not physically, but verbally. They screamed at each other. They yelled at each other, and I laid in bed whispering to myself, no, because I was so sad that my parents were doing that. That sucked to hear every day. But it didn't ruin the next day. That was that day. They hated each other that day. But tomorrow, they were fine. Tomorrow, they got along. And I went to school. Today's a new day. And I had a good day at school. And I went home and I told my family, like, nothing happened. Resilient little kid. Nothing happened the day before. I went to school today, and my friend gave me a little rubber lizard, and now it's my favorite toy. What a good kid Billy was for giving me that. And my parents are happy for me, and then they yell again, and they're angry at each other again. But that day wasn't ruined because of them. You decide if it is, So, God, that was a little intense there for me, actually. Like when I was going back to my kidhood, I haven't thought about it like that in a while. Okay, cool, Scars. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Do you know people are attempting to make real lightsabers? Yeah, I saw the Hacksmith one. That one was so cool. Some sad people in chat. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. It's sad and happy are, it's like, okay. Think about it like this. Nobody is happy all the time. And nobody is sad all the time. You go through moments like passing through water. So, let's say, what was the analogy I was going to use just a second ago? Okay, so like this. When I love someone, this is just me. When I love someone, I don't feel the love all the time. I don't look at them and go, God, I love them. I'm just feeling that love for them so hard all the time. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You look at them and you have a moment and they say something or they do something and you're like, I love them. And you feel that. You're like, I love them. God, they are amazing. And that feeling goes away. And then the next time they do something, it happens again. That's what happiness and sadness is too. You have a moment. You're like, God, I'm sad. You know? You got to teach yourself to take that part of your mind and develop a relationship with it. You got to take that time and develop a relationship with that part of your mind. I'm sad. Why? My friend doesn't care about me. Okay? That sucks. My friend doesn't care about me as much as I care about him. I need to think about the dynamic of this relationship differently. You know, I need to stop putting as much effort into it if I'm not going to get that back. And if he asks me, why are you not giving me 100%, I'm going to ask him back the same thing. That was sad to think about. Come back to my center. Okay. Now I can sulk for the rest of the day on the fact that my friend made me sad. I can do that. Or I can go, okay, I've dealt with that. It doesn't help me anymore to stew on it. What's my next thing that I'm going to do? Okay, I was going to go for a bike ride today. Let's get that done. You know, move forward. You got to move on from that. What do you think of I don't bother you, you don't bother me, just go away type of government? What do you think of the I don't bother you, you don't bother me, just go away type of government? You need to explain that a little bit more. Why does the internet go crazy over the tiniest things, but when there's big fish to fry, there are no cooks around? Because we'll make up our own problems, man. Like we don't have issues, okay? As many issues as we think we have, we don't. 100 years ago, let's go 500 years ago. There are like kings and emperors and rulers, and they're going to war, and you have your family who's come down with this tremendous disease that no one has a cure for. That's a real problem. We had that. That's a real problem. Today, we have an issue like tuberculosis or, some disease that didn't have a cure 100 years ago. And we're like, all right, go to the doctor. You're fine. That wasn't a problem. I don't have a problem. But I'm still going to go on Facebook and be like, tuberculosis. Because that's what we do. We want problems. I don't know why. But that's what we do. You know, we don't have issues, and we're so bored that we fabricate issues. What's your opinion of breaking rules? Rules are developed so that people can break them. Yeah, I love Minefield. Oh, they're so great. I feel like you've had some really good opinions on the court system in the U.S. It's kind of ridiculous how it's a game two people play for the remainder of their lives. The only example I have is like people going to jail for 40 years over smoking weed. It's like, really? I didn't go out of my way to intoxicate someone else. I didn't go force anyone else to smoke weed. You caught me intoxicating myself. That I did on my own terms. I wanted it to happen. And you're going to put me in jail? What? For 40 years? Are you kidding me? What was your favorite pet? I had a favorite pet lizard in the kindergarten too. What do you think about workaholics or the workaholic culture nowadays, known as the hustle culture? I have it. I'm a workaholic myself. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I think a hard working man is hard-working man or woman is a very, respectable thing. I just, I don't agree with what a lot of us work towards, I don't want to work for the pocket of someone else because they tell me that if I do it for so long, they'll give me enough benefits when I'm 60 that I can actually finally go see what this planet has to offer. That's so dumb. I'm not interested. All right. Sorry, one sec. My kitty's being a little strange. When I was young, people always used to ask me why I was sad. But that was just my normal face. What do you apply poison? Add one additional poison. Okay. Well, wait, what do I have in my deck? I need to get rid of some of these cards. As humanity advances, our problems become more specific. It seems fairly cynical to say that tuberculosis or any disease now is less valid than they used to be. Well, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not... But it... Okay. So, I'm talking about this kind of, like, Facebook mentality. You know? Some guy cut me off in town and I'm so pissed. And then you're pissed for the whole day. You know? It's like... Chill out. There's nothing wrong. You literally could have been 100 years in the past and someone cut you off and you got pissed and they killed you. Now you're dead. Complain, thank you very much. You don't have an issue, you know? That's kind of what I'm trying to talk about here. We make up our own issues. And then we can even go beyond that a little bit. So for example, war, the wars we have, those are made. We made them. Did I need to go to another country and start a problem? That's a problem I started. Because why? Why? Do you agree that a lot of the wars that we've fought are necessary? If you do, I'd love to hear your point. From where I sit, they don't seem to be as necessary as our governments tell us that they are. They seem to be just about doing it. Why? You know? We just make problems. I've been stuck at home for over a couple months with a trip to the hospital with pretty bad glandular fever. I've been pretty depressed and I can't get out or see anyone. How do I feel better? I mean, I don't know. You may just have to go through it and then feel better later. Like, when I had H. pylori, I was not happy. I was miserable the whole time. So, I don't know what to say on that one. Not to say that you can't, you know, be happy. I'm just saying don't stew on what you've got going on. I was saying that earlier. Don't stew on what you've got going on. Don't sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm miserable, so this is not going to go away." You know, just this sucks right now. There's nothing I can do about it. So, what can I do to entertain myself? Pick up a Rubik's Cube, you know? Just put your mind to something. Don't you think that's ridiculous how, for example, politicians and people in general are hypocritical and don't notice it at all? Yeah, that might just be, that might just be us being blissfully ignorant, though. You know, you can sit there and be like, oh, our government's malicious and it's intentional and they want us to be cows and people or sheep. You know, maybe, or maybe we're just really dumb. Maybe we're just really dumb. Maybe we don't know when we say something. You know, we don't have the capacity, or some of us don't have the capacity to remember what we said. Like Donald Trump, for example. I'm not just out of spite for him. I don't have, you know, any hate towards him. Just he's known to do it. He says something and then a minute later contradicts himself. He may just not have the capacity to understand. You know, he's just simple. He's just dumb. What can you do about it? You know? I understand your viewpoint on politics. However, this goes deeper than aspects of life. For example, why country X has country Y and how it developed, or why it doesn't tolerate group Z. Go further into that. I agree that wars are simply politics taken to a higher power. I think maybe the medical example was fairly off-putting to me. I agree that people complain about things often. Do you use Discord for chatting with fans? I use Discord, but it's really rare. You should make a video on what you do when you're sad. Okay. I actually agree with many of the points, but when you get on points like the Nazis in North Korea, you don't think someone should do something or help the people? Well, no, of course. Of course. I... So, okay, so let's say Germany does what they did again. So, some guy rises to power and starts infiltrating other countries and taking them over. I mean, at that point, how hard is it to look at that? Like, especially if, like, take status quo as we're all, instead of separate nations, we're all just a world. We know we're all a world, okay? You cut me open and I'll have the same color come out of me as any other guy, you know? So we see Germany dicking around, you know? So then all of us come together and send letters. Everyone. There is no Axis and, allies or anything like that. There is just the world, you know? So all of the nations around the world that are not getting affected send letters to Germany and say, you have 5 days. You have 5 days to stop your shit. And if you don't, we're all coming. You better sort it out now. So Germany backs off or they don't. And then they get screwed, you know? It honestly doesn't have to be that hard, I don't think. But maybe that's not enough to deter. Maybe maybe that's too simple. It just doesn't seem to me like we need to, form Axis or allies or anything like that. But then again, you got to sit there and... Germany wants world power, so then they make a pact with Japan and say, hey, Japan, if we have world power, we'll give you world power. And then Japan goes to China and Korea and Vietnam, and they go, okay, so look, Germany's planning a full hustle here. We can take over the entire world. I just feel like that mentality wouldn't even exist in the first place if we looked at the world the way that I'm seeing it in my head. Where I'm a guy. That's as simple as it gets. I'm a dude. And there are other people around the world. I don't need someone above me telling me what I should and shouldn't do or should and shouldn't think. I don't need groups above me making these giant decisions where they're like, hey, I know you're having a good time just enjoying your life and just being. That's great. But we're deciding to have nuclear war over here. I know you weren't involved, but now you're fighting my war. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not interested in your bullshit. That's your petty fight. Why don't you go over there? Because you have the problem. Don't send a bunch of people who are not involved. You have the problem. You go over there and you talk to that president, and whoever doesn't die at the end of it wins. How about that? No, but you're not going to put your life on the line, are you? You're a weak politician with no spine and no testicles. So you're going to send a bunch of people who don't know you and are just loyal because they were born here to another country to die. Over what? Over what? That's what pisses me off. It could be so easy, but we don't see it. We're like, yeah, my country's at war, rage. Okay, fine, rage then. I'm not doing it. I'm not interested. Oh, shit. There's a lot of stuff in here now. Oh, man. I agree that wars are simply politics taken blah, 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 blah. What are your thoughts on leads to people being... What do you think leads to people being toxic? Oh, man. A lot of things. It could be power. It could be money. It could be, anything, honestly. It doesn't seem to take much to piss people off. I do want this. And I want that. These guys are dead now. I like your thoughts on all these topics. You think so clearly and uniquely. That's why people want you to make a podcast. But I want to just say, Barry for president. A lot of companies are profiting off wars. There you go. Lockheed, for example. If there are no wars, then they don't make money. And they're taking government missions. Probably a lot of capitalism into wars, sadly. What are your thoughts on the eventuality of humanity becoming an intergalactic species? Well, see, that's what worries me. If we're so stuck with what we're doing here, I don't know if we're gonna make it. You know? If we get so hell-bent on hating and fighting each other, I don't know, like, how are we going to do anything? I really hope we can settle all that stuff and just move on to doing what Elon does. I love that. If I were a billionaire, I'd be like, yeah, okay, enough of the war. I'm not putting my money into that. Let's go to space. We've been saying we're going to do it since we touched the moon. Why haven't we? We're not working on it. We got all our money in war budget. Are we idiots? I have a lot of money. What are your thoughts on... Okay, I already did that one. While I feel a select few wars are necessary, many times it feels like many are instigated for influence of one nation over a region. People just like one another despite ideologies. Or dislike, yeah. Yeah. What do you think of tribalism? Go into that? What do you mean? Would you consider yourself a globalist? God damn it, guys. I need you to understand that I don't do this politics stuff. If you're gonna ask me a question, I need you to, like, give me a definition, too. Like, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Jimi Hendrix. What a guy. See ya, Nick. I want to stay, but I got to dip. I hope you're still here in 2 or 3 hours. You cannot simply reject the draft and never fight over moral reasons. You might just have to explain why at most. Oh, you can simply reject the draft and never fight over moral reasons. You might just have to explain why. I thought that if you tell them no, then you go to prison. That's what I was... Because that's like treason, isn't it? To not fight for your country in their time of need. He's going to get back up. Damn it, I should have killed him. He's going to kill himself. Are there any justified reasons for going to war? Of course there are. Of course there are. To stop tyranny like what was going on in Germany? Absolutely, get involved. You know? If a country came out of nowhere and was like, I'm just going to start killing everyone, get that country back to where it belongs. You know? What are you doing? But like, okay, here's one that I just don't get involved. Here's one. Syria and Israel are hating each other, and they're having a huge issue with each other. Wait, is that... Let's just say, okay? And they're fighting each other, and they're asking America, hey, supply us weapons, supply us guns. How about instead, we say, stop being stupid. No other country's getting involved in your petty shit. This is petty shit. You're arguing about religion here. You don't like his ideas, and you don't like his. We don't care. Kill each other. Stop being stupid. We're not helping you. But instead, we don't do that. We get involved. And now we make these countries pissed at us. And then you have terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda getting involved. You know? One thing leads to the other. You just sit there and be like, okay, what will happen if I get involved in these kids' dispute? You know? Damn. This is not good. Oh, I don't need to fight you guys. Heck with you. I gotta heal. Those people who went to war for the country were known as patriots and heroes. It's just social standard in the way the government changes the majority of the mind to fight. I don't know about globalists, but would you like something similar to what the EU does? Cooperation between nations for overall good. Or a sort of dissolving of government in total. I don't think that we need to dissolve government. I think government is kind of important when you have so many people. But I don't think it needs to be as rigid and strict as it is. I don't need, like I was saying before, someone to tell me what I can do with my personal being. You know? That's dumb. I can do what I want. I don't need someone telling me how I should or shouldn't live. So it's just that kind of stuff. So if there's a government and they say, you know, we make sure that if someone gets raped, if someone gets murdered, that gets taken care of. We make sure of that. But beyond that, you know, they can do diplomatic relation with other countries. They can focus on that, you know, making sure that there's a peace kept. I don't know, because there's so much. I have to go into education and minimum wage, like, and there's way too much to talk about when it comes to politics, and I'm like, every time I start talking about it, I'm like, I am not qualified. I would prefer if we had a conversation about anything else. But not that I don't enjoy it. Did you... Should America focus on world hunger more than themselves? Yes. If you run and hide, yes. But if you say, I reject for moral reasons, and instead, I will go do this other important thing. Tribalism is people being organized into tribes, and then people associate their beliefs with tribe, so that they fight with other tribes. Oh. I see. Yeah. I mean, it's like... this is the part where I'm like, we have no excuse anymore. We just don't. We have the internet. The internet exists. I get to know at any time what other people think. At any time. I get to know. And if these ideas piss you off, that's your problem. That's your issue. You got pissed. Don't bring it here. You got pissed. I don't care. I was just sharing an idea. The fact that we have that and we can be civil, right? The fact that I can talk to you guys right now with all these crazy ideas and we can be civil with each other, you know? We don't have an excuse anymore to sit there and be like, well, I didn't like his ideas. Welcome to the internet. Deal with it. I don't care what you like. I don't give a crap what you like. Sit down and don't engage in the conversation if you're going to behave like a child, you know? We're not interested. I don't know. It's like, it's so easy. I keep saying that, but if it was that easy, I guess we would have done it, right? So maybe it's not. What's your opinion on free healthcare? Every other first world country has it. That's my opinion on healthcare. I have nothing more to say than that. Use what you will with that statement. What time is it? 4:13. To get away from that, I've been having some troubles overall due to being trans. This relates to jobs. Everything in life is harder to do, and I'm trying to move to Europe. Any advice? I think that's a really smart move. People in Europe, as far as I've seen, are pretty open-minded. Not to bash on Americans, but when I went to Vietnam and I met people from around the world, I was like, I'm not dumb. I'm out of the loop. You guys just get it, and I don't, and it's not my fault. I wasn't raised around you, you know? So, I think it's a smart move to go to a country like that where the minds are a little more open. But getting there is going to be the hard part, because not only do you have to find a way to work, you know, I mean, not to say you can't do it. People do it all the time. The thing that I know would work, go to Korea. Go to South Korea. Holy, you are going to kill me. Okay. Not anymore. Go to South Korea. And when you do private English teaching lessons. You could even do it out in the middle of nowhere. This is the greatest thing. So there's a bunch of websites online where you can go and you can put yourself into a list of people. volunteering to help people in a third world country on their farm. What you do is you help them with their farm work. You get to live there for free. You get to eat all their food. They'll even pay you to teach their kids English. Okay? So now you build up some experience teaching English. You move into the city and you start doing private English teaching lessons. The reason I say private is because you have to give $100 in order to have a teaching license, and you also are supposed to have a 4-year bachelor's degree in English. So to skip that, you just say you have those things, and then go into the city and do private lessons. Just go on Facebook and say, I have all the credentials. I will teach your kids how to speak English. And what you're doing is you're offering these kids a better chance at their future, because these kids that know English tend to do better. To be an English teacher as a Vietnamese, they'll pay them $2,000. To be an English teacher as an American, they'll pay you $3,000. In South Korea, they'll pay you $4,000 a month. So find like a little infinite money pool and just throw yourself into it for a couple of years, and there you go. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do that for sure once I get out there. Unless YouTube just kind of keeps me alive. I mean, I'm not drowning right now, but it's definitely not going to keep me alive. I'm going to die, though. I'm dead here. This is not good. I am screwed. Yep. Goodbye, cruel world. How would you go about ending hunger? The war budget? I know that's an easy answer, but if you look up how many people are need food, that war budget would take care of it like hundreds of times over. It would just fix the problem. Because we put the money into terraforming some of these lands that, like in Africa especially, we terraform these lands and we make, get the soil rich so that it can grow. Work on, education for these kids so that they can learn how to do this for themselves and keep the thing going. We can also ship food out in the meantime to these countries. I just don't think it would be very hard, But then again, I don't know the war budget intimately, and I don't know how many people are starving around the world intimately. I'm just saying, instead of taking all that money that we put into killing each other, we can move it over to science. We can move it over to space. We can move it over to growing food ourselves. We can honestly, if you take trays, you take a huge facility, a big greenhouse, and then you just put trays that go up. Let's say it's 2 stories high. They just go up 2 stories. This whole tray is tomatoes. The tray next to it is squash all the way up. The next tray is watermelons. And the next tray is, all the way up. And you've got maybe 300 of these long-ass trays in this one thing. And there's just an ecosystem in there taking care of it all. There you go. Now you don't even have to terraform the land. You just built a giant building and the people are fine. You can make this efficient. But I don't know, I just think something like that would. Have you ever listened to Everywhere at the End of Time? It lets you see how it is to suffer from Alzheimer's. Whoa. Okay. Someone who believes that economic and foreign policy should be planned in an international way rather than according to what's best for one particular country. Oh, I'm for that. I'm for that. Again, we're all people. Cut me open and I'm going to bleed the same color you do. I am no different from you. Do you think there will be any other big war in the future? Maybe. I mean, we're just for it. So if you had to have a single phrase on your gravestone, what would it be? Here lies Barry Weidrich. I told you I was sick. No. I actually have no idea. Have you ever listened to... Well, would the world be a better place if everyone was more hospitable? So that's the thing. Okay, so just as there are people like myself, there are people on the very opposite spectrum who want nothing more than to kill things, to throw a cat against a wall and break its back and make it suffer. People who want to just murder and be angry and fill with rage. And they're people who are plagued by fear. They live in fear. They're just angry and sad and scared. And they don't know what to do. So they try to take control for themselves. And they don't know how to deal with it. So, like, you can't just make people a certain way, you know? What I think would be nice is if we taught each other in school how to look out for things like that. Instead of math and science and social studies, you know, like, instead of that, why not things that are really beneficial? You know, there's a lot of women around here that are afraid of men. They look at me and they're like, okay, he's going to rape me, he's going to hurt me, he's going to kill me. It took me like weeks before I realized that you were not going to hurt me, Barry. And I'm like, I never would have hurt you. And they're like, yeah, well, no, I know that now. How could I have known that before? I've been abused by everyone I've ever met. That's fair. Why not teach people what to look for so that when this kind of thing happens, you know, people can be like, okay, this is a trait of someone who's going to not treat me like I should be treated. This is a trait of someone who is dangerous. Okay, now I know when I go to the bar what to look for so that I'm not just taking a chance on some guy, you know? So I think being able to read people is something we ought to learn. Because if you can read a dangerous situation, you're good. You're just good. You know, you can get yourself out of there before anything bad happens. But what my point is, just not everyone is going to be the way I would like them to be. You know, people are out to hurt each other. You just got to know what to look for. Do you think universal basic income should be implemented? If we're going to do something like that, just make it cryptocurrency or get rid of money at all. Just get rid of it. Bro, man! What are your thoughts on the idea that we were told a skewed narrative about Hitler and the Nazis and Germans? Well, see, I can't know until I go to Germany and kind of look at their history and stuff, their museums. I can't know because I thought I knew about the Vietnam War. And then I went and looked at their museum and was like, oh, man, we're not told a lot of this. Like, holy cow, we're not told a lot of this. So, I don't know. It's okay, so think about it like this. If you and I got into a fight, like a legitimate fist fight, and we're beating the hell out of each other, and then the cops showed up and said what happened, we're going to have two different stories. What is truth? You know? You can only know what you're told. So, oh, no. What do you think of tribalism in a nutshell? I like this, you like this also, so let's harm the guy who doesn't like this. For example, feminists and men's rights activists. No. I think every idea is important. We should have it, but we should be able to do like I was talking about with that monkey before. My monkey who's strong and angry, and you know, and I sit there and go, okay, thank you for the thought. I appreciate the emotion, but we don't need that. It's not necessary, you know? So kind of like that. Like some feminist comes up to me and is like, you're a pig, you're a man, you're the worst and you should be killed or caged or something. And I'd be like, okay, well, hang on a minute. Is that useful? Why don't we go sit down and have a conversation about it, you know? Because you sound angry, and if you just want to be angry, you can just be angry. But if you want to talk about it and maybe try to make me think like you think, but I'm going to also give you my side, you know? Let's see who's got the rational, you know, maybe we can come to an idea here together instead of worrying about killing each other. Like, no, I don't want to kill feminists. It's not worth my time, you know? They have their own stuff they have to go through. That is a mental obstacle that they have to deal with. And it's a phase. They'll go through that. I had she was transgender, and I worked with her at Fred Meyer. Beautiful girl. Was a man, now a girl. And you couldn't even tell. But she was afraid of men. She hated people who, you know, like she had this idea of people in her head that they were all closed-minded and they were all gonna like try to kill her and all this stuff. And eventually, as time went on, I'm like sitting there talking with her, and you know, today she's like, I'm not a feminist. Like I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm like, well, you can't blame yourself. You had to go through that phase. If you don't go through that phase, you won't grow to where you are now. You have to go through that. Yeah, maybe you don't agree with yourself before. I don't agree with myself like 2 years ago. That's okay. You grow. I've been watching your channel for years. Appreciate your content. Thank you, Nathan. Here's a thought experiment that might pique your interest. Imagine millions of years of human race is still alive and still on this earth, but dolphins or some other animal are intelligent and forming their own societies. Oh, yeah. I've thought about that so many times. I actually have asked my Mormon friends, I was like, what animal do you think is next? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, sentience. What animal do you think is next? Birds? I mean, there are parrots that ask, what color am I? That's self-awareness. Dolphins? You know, what we know about intelligent life has sex for pleasure. Intelligent life intoxicates itself. These dolphins do the same thing. You know, they have communication. They talk to each other in ways that maybe is so human. It's human. They're the humans of the ocean, you know? So what happens if they do evolve to a point where they can understand our language? Maybe it's never possible. But what if they can? That's another race. And then at that point, we have to think about that for every animal because that's their potential. Now I have to look at a cow and go, I can't eat that because that's the potential for a human life. That is a life that can go beyond what it is now. And all we have to do is work with that life. Maybe we can, I don't know, amplify its consciousness somehow, speed up the process, you know? How fascinating would that be, though? A group of, like a species or a race, you know, but they're birds. They're parrots, you know? So they're flying around doing their little parrot business stuff. Or maybe they teach us stuff that we wouldn't even realize. Like we sit there and we're like, hey, now you can incorporate yourselves into our society. And they're like, why would we do that? You guys are the ones who are confused. Every other animal knows what's going on. You guys are confused. We're all sitting there wondering when you're going to come back. You frickin' tards. Like, what are you talking about? We're not getting involved. We learned your language so we can tell you, chill out, come back to the wildlife, guys. Let us show you how to do it. Barry, you're really good at thinking. I think everyone should try to see their best. Ego stroker. Thank you. School needs to teach you how to do real things like taxes and the purpose of why you're here in the first place, more than how to decide what you want to do with your life. Yep. Money can be proof of the amount you can have access to without there being enough for the rest of society. What do you think about nuclear weapons? Or weapons of mass destruction in general? Do you think they bring world peace? Yeah, no, that totally. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, so you have a family, right? You're the father, okay? Or the mom. You are the head of the household, right? You make the executive decisions, and your family fights all the time. So there are two ways you can go about this, okay? So we'll go in, and I'll take my son first, and I'll say, listen, the way you treat your sister is apprehensible. Here's what we're going to do. You know, you work with him individually. Then you move on to your sister. Here's what we're going to do. You and your brother need to chill out. And then you're with your wife. I know the kids are a handful. We need to work with them. We cannot yell at them. That is instilling ideas and you know, like this teachings that is not going to be good for them. And then when they have kids, it's just going to be the same. We need to instill something better here. You can do it that way. That's how I'd like a government to be. Or you can do it this way. Put a gun in the middle of the living room. And then put a gun safe down. And fill that gun safe every week that there's an argument. Put another gun in there. Bam. That's for next week when you do it again. Bam. That's for next week when you do it again. And no, it makes more sense that this tenseness, this worry that my dad is going to pull out a gun No, that makes me peaceful. Oh, of course. I'm not stressed about that. No, that's great. Come on. You know, what the hell? It's so backwards. We have our minds so flipped around. I got an idea. If I threaten all my friends, we can have peace. God, are you serious? I really have to go, but I was wondering if you were going to upload this so I can see it all. I'll leave it up for... Yeah, I can leave it up for a little bit. We can't confirm that consciousness is in all animals. It's kind of scary to think that we might be the only conscious thing in the universe. But I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Right? Like, we're not conscious and animals are unconscious. We're just more conscious. And when you... This is where it's going to get, okay? This is where it's my opinion only, so please do not take this as objective fact. But when you take a psychedelic, you become more conscious, more aware. That's what consciousness is. It's more awareness. The more aware you are, the more conscious you are. So take me as a kitten. I look in a mirror. I don't know what that is. It looks like another cat. So then you give that cat more awareness and it goes, oh, no, that's me. Okay, that's me. Awareness, consciousness. If I have a personality, I'm conscious. Dogs, cats, every animal on this planet has a personality so long as it's not a snake. You know, it's not a reptile. They got personality, you know? So I don't see consciousness as a human-only trait. Consciousness is it's just the way this world works, you know? Do you see how there's a good side to suffering? Yes. I do. But you need to be more specific because I'll just go on forever on that one. Have you seen the YouTube channel about Coco the gorilla that was taught sign language? Yes, that was so fascinating. Or the bonobo monkeys that can speak using that chart. That was amazing. She was like, go get the stick. What are you going to do to this bonobo? And it said, I'm getting stick. And then it runs over, grabs the stick, runs back. I got stick. That's awareness. That's a conscious thing, you know? It's aware of its surroundings and it can manipulate them. That's what humans can do. The only thing that makes us different is we're conscious of our environment and we can manipulate it. Monkeys are next, man. God damn it. If we can't prove that animals are conscious, then I can't prove that anyone but me is conscious. Okay. Post-sadism? What's post-sadism? We need to give dolphins psychedelics. They already trip. So check this out. This is what I love about it's so funny when people are like, oh, you just tripping and I'm like, you know, that's what intelligent life does, man. Because there's a pufferfish that induces a psychoactive poison or uses a psychoactive poison. It is a psychedelic. It's a psychedelic fish. And the dolphins, they use this fish to become high. You know, like, I don't know how it works on the dolphin brain. I don't know what the hell they even must go through, but they do it, you know? Favorite sex position? To be honest, I haven't tried many. I'm still very witness vanilla, so what are your opinions on cloning or genetic modification on humans? Do you think it's ethical or moral? I mean, I just think do it, dude. That's the thing. Like, why do we come up with these ideas like as something we do is unethical or immoral? It's just happening. That's it. It just is. So if I have the ability to clone a human and make another, why not? Let's figure that out. That's probably going to teach us a lot. Why are we so, like, scared to teach ourselves stuff like that? You know how much we learned by cutting dogs' heads off in the 80s? And, like, attaching electrodes to their brains and seeing how long they'd live? If we could just be a little unethical, if we had people who were like, I'm done living. I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to kill myself. That is the fact of the matter. And we've done everything to help this person. We've done everything we can. We've given them pills. We've given them treatment. You know, we've tried with, you know, I don't know, just whatever. Anything. And they're just still, I'm gonna die. Well, why not donate your body? We'll kill you humanely, but we want to experiment on you while you're alive first. We'll sedate you, we'll numb you so that you don't feel anything. But we want to play with a live human brain. You know? For science! For science! How about the balance between suffering and job? I don't think that's worth your time. I don't think so. But that's my own idea. I don't think that a job is worth suffering for. If I'm suffering to survive out in the wild, there you go. I'm suffering to survive, but I'm alive. I am living doing that. If I'm suffering at a job because I need to make minimum wage so I can support what little I have, that's not living. You know? You're just being miserable for no reason. What is the first experiment you'd do if you could ignore ethics and a budget? I honestly, with how much I want to know about the human mind and consciousness, like seriously, I think brain play for sure. I'd want to hook two people up together in any way I could. I want to find a way to link their minds together. I'd chop a brain in half and put it in someone else's head. Like, I don't care what I got to do. I want to see what happens to people. How much are you, your brain? Is consciousness attached to that fleshy, you know, like makeup? Or if I swap someone's brain out with mine, am I going to be that person? Or am I not even going to be a person at all? Does consciousness leave when you try to do something like that? You know, like, what happens? You could probably turn someone into an animal. I mean, I know you can't, just by frying them. You fry their brain, you'll turn them into an animal. They'll just sit there and look around. And they're not there anymore. Where did they go? Where did they go? Can you get them back? Or are they gone? Can you not get them back? You know, like, there's so much we could learn from that. He's stating his fetishes. Brain play. Let me get in your ear, girl. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh, that's so funny. Alright, guys. I had a really good time, but I'm not playing games anymore, and I gotta... You guys made me horny for some gameplay, or brain play, so I'm gonna... play with my brain, daddy. Oh my god. Alright, I try to promise every time that I'll stream more. I just... When I do... so, for example, today I was gonna make a setup build. Or a setup tour. I was gonna... so many people have been like, Barry, what are your specs? What are your specs? And I could just do a video. I haven't done it since my 1,000 subscriber special. So I wanna be like, here's what I've got going on. And I've been wanting to make it for like the past 4 days. But something gets in the way. And today, it was the stream. That was just random, out of nowhere. But I loved it so much. Like, I love doing this. So... I need to, like, actually set days aside where I schedule myself. Okay, this is stream day. I just don't want to get tired of it like I did last time. I do it every Saturday, and it felt more like an obligation than actually just doing it. So, but I will try to do it more. So I just don't want to make promises because I always, like, just don't show up for 4 months. But either way, thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave this stream up for maybe a week. So you guys can take a look at it. I don't like to keep the streams up on YouTube. Maybe I could make a channel like BulletBarry streams, and I'll just upload them on there. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you the next time we do it.